Yo l'équipe, yo 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 yo. Bienvenue à tous. Aujourd'hui, FNCS. Pour savoir c'est qui va gagner les FNCS probablement. Là on attend la game numéro 7. Oui, c'est bien ça, 7. Hop, on va juste
I mean, day one
hop, mettre un peu de
was
son.
wild, and if we just start to take a look at this leaderboard together, Clicks and Venno currently leading the pack in that number one spot. Peterbot,
Par
Koyo
contre,
right on their heels, and
on
just
attend
behind
Clix,
them,
hein. Clix Zeno
Bonfire
là,
and
on les attend
Regarde.
aujourd'hui.
So in
Parce
a
que là les
very
points vont,
unusual situation with a
vont être fois
1.5 times
1,5.
multiplier. We even saw
Donc
it
du
in
coup,
EU, and we've seen it in the
ce sera
past.
beaucoup plus
You
compliqué.
never know what could happen.
I mean, yeah, craziest stuff going on. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the thick of it here? Seeing, I mean, we've got Clicks and Veto looking primed up to actually win this FNCS. Everybody's been questioning on the timeline and stream and everything like that. Like, is this actually Clicks' time to win an FNCS? Is Veto coming over to NA and then pairing up going to be the difference? I'm excited to
Let's
see if they
go.
can make it happen today.
12 minutes, c'est la game 7. On va se mettre en plein écran. Est-ce que mon micro fonctionne bien? Ah, ou test. Ok, c'est bon. C'est carré. Let's go. J'ai vraiment hâte. Salut Maeva. Bienvenue à toi. Ah, Clix, par contre, je veux vraiment le voir win. Hein. Je veux vraiment le voir win. Là, il reste 6 games là. Pendant les 6 games, il doit conserver la première place. Il faut qu'il conserve la première place. Il mérite de gagner les FNCS. Mais c'est sur la scène compétitive depuis longtemps, mais il n'a jamais gagné les FNCS. En plus, mais c'est monstrueux. Donc il mérite. On attend là, c'est un peu le moment où on attend beaucoup. 10 minutes, c'est long. Mais on attend quand même. Et tout ça, voilà. Les 5 minutes les plus longues de ma vie. 7. Never mind. Non, par contre, Peter Bot Poyo, non, ça, c'est une dinguerie. Est-ce que Mister Savage a lancé son live? Mister Savage. Il y a 8. 8, on va aller le local. Ah oui, mais c'est vrai, mais c'est le cast. Après, je sais pas, peut-être il sera sur la POV de Rit aussi. Du coup, on verra. Parce qu'on avait vu ça avec le gars qui streamait sur le truc de Peterbot la saison dernière. Et regardez la POV de Peterbot. Du coup, là, peut-être on aura la même chose avec la POV de Rit. Mister Savage, il lance pas de live. Ok, il va laisser mon gars le live tout seul. D'accord. Par contre, j'ai hâte de voir le battle entre Peterbot et Clix. Par contre, ouais, il met des dingueries, le frère. Le frérot, là, il met des dingueries. C'est chaud. Oh merde, je m'entends double. Voilà. Eh mais il y aura une battle de fou furieux parce que Peterbot et Poyo, ils aiment bien prendre le high. Mais Clix et Veno aussi, c'est des genres high. Donc à tout moment, dans l'une des 6 dernières games là, on va avoir un fight Peterbot vs Clix. Sachant que les deux, ils aiment bien se clasher. Ils aiment bien se clasher. Par exemple, quand ils sont en 1v1 et tout, en zone noire et tout, on va Peterbot qui trash Clix et tout. Là, on a une vraie battle entre les deux là. Pour la victoire. Et à tout moment, il y a un pop-off de Bouga là qui ressort. Mais c'est pas ce qu'on veut. Non, ça aurait été une dinguerie. Je pense pas. Mais voilà quoi. On va se mettre aussi sur le truc Fortnite Tracker. Hop. Fortnite Tracker. Comme ça, on pourra regarder le classement en temps réel. Voilà. Voilà, on est bien. Hop. Par contre, ouais, niveau dégâts, forcément. Si c'était pas Peterbot le premier, je ne saurais pas ce serait qui, frère. Non, c'est pas possible. Peterbot, il touche toutes ses balles, frère. Une manette ambulante, le mec. C'est une dinguerie. Eh, le chapitre 5, c'est pour Peterbot, hein. Le chapitre 5, c'est pour lui. Littéralement. Saison 1, il a fait une dinguerie. Saison 2, il a win. Et là, saison 3, il est classé deuxième, là. Après, je sais pas s'il va rester deuxième au bout de ces 6 games là, parce qu'aujourd'hui, je le rappelle encore une fois, les points sont multipliés fois 1,5. Donc du coup, ça compte plus aujourd'hui que hier. Donc du coup, faut donner beaucoup plus aujourd'hui que hier. Enfin, il y a beaucoup moins de marge d'erreur. Tu n'as pas le droit d'erreur aujourd'hui. Là, c'est chez Regarde. Parce que un point, oh, genre un kill, genre c'est 6 points. 6 points, un kill. Donc du coup, 2 kills, ça te rapporte 12 points. Donc ça te met déjà super bien dans le classement d'avoir déjà 2 kills. Deux kills. Donc imagine tu fais... Non, imagine tu fais même un top 1, genre 10 kills dans ça là. Ça te fait monter de presque 100 points, hein, littéralement. Hein. Non, c'est... Non, c'est fou. Non, c'est fou. Genre vraiment. Hein. Donc attention, hein, à tout moment, Peterbot, il recrée la surprise. Donc oui, du coup, il faut que Click soit solide sur les appuis. Après, on a l'habitude de voir du Clix, Chiri des gueules et tout. En plus, il est avec Veno, il est pas avec n'importe qui. Parce que oui, s'il était avec d'autres personnes, machin, mais il est avec Veno. Donc Veno, je pense, ça va bien se passer. Ça va bien se passer. Mais on va avoir une battle très intéressante entre les deux. Vraiment. Et il montre comment les teams rotant, ce qu'ils préfèrent faire pour autant, les solutions qu'ils utilisent pour autant. Le dead side là, il est à droite. À droite, il y a tellement personne. C'est une dinguerie. Genre, tu passes full droite, tu longes la zone à droite, il n'y a personne pour te casser les héros. Ça, c'est une dinguerie. Allez, 1 minute 40. 1 minute 40 pour la game numéro 7. Ah, je suis impatient. Est-ce qu'il y a déjà quelqu'un qui est en game là? Clicks, de Big Clicks. Non, il a le même délai que Fortnite. Mon Graal. Même délai aussi. Oui, il est sur le même truc. Par contre, mon Graal Savage, malheureusement pour eux, ils font pas un bon truc. Ils font pas un bon truc. Genre, on les attendait beaucoup plus haut, mais malheureusement, ah, ça se passe pas si bien que ça. J'espère pour eux que... Ah ouais. Là, ils montrent la team qui a fait un comeback de fou en EU. En EU, ben ouais. Genre, s'ils font une bonne game, là, ils peuvent repasser dans le top. Genre, dans le top 10. Donc, du coup, une bonne game, là, peut tout changer aujourd'hui. Du coup, à tout moment, ils vont chercher quand même la qual. La qual, c'est top 10. À part s'il y a déjà des gens qui sont déjà qual dans le top 10. Et donc, du coup, ça va rajouter une place encore. Ouais, vraiment. Là, je suis impatient. Envoyez la game, là. Envoyez la game. Allez. Stop les blablatages. Stop le blablatage, chef. Donne-nous le chirigel. Là, normalement, Clix, il est dans le bus. Ah non, même pas, il est dans le chargement. Oh, ton grand écran. Là, il y a encore un petit speech. Encore un petit speech. Allez, épargnez-nous les speeches là. On veut voir du chirigel. Chef. Voilà. Voilà. Vous pouvez y aller. Vous pouvez y aller. Voilà, ça. Game 7. On va augmenter un peu le son. Voilà. Là, on est bien.
Yeah, and the other crazy thing to consider is that there was certainly a lot
Wow.
of chatter happening all throughout the course
Clix Veno,
of last night.
les premiers.
I think a lot of teams kind of trying to
Premier au
determine,
classement.
are we switching our drops? Are we going to look to try and surprise contest? And for one of our duos, our leading duo even from day one, Clix and Veno, they find
Chef,
themselves dealing with a
ils
little
ont
bit of
intérêt à
conflict
rester
here at
premiers.
the Sandy
Ils ont
Steps.
intérêt.
This is a huge surprise and
Intérêt.
honestly could be, you know, a difference maker for them.
Ah, ils sont
Veno
contestes.
obviously are the team to look
Noise.
out for, and Peterbot and Boyo.
Aïe.
It's just going to be
Son teammate l'a fait
such an
tomber.
explosive day, but
Oh le
kind
pauvre.
of
Oh les
picking up the
pauvres.
pieces from where we left off yesterday. Oliver
Son
and
teammate l'a fait
Chris
tomber.
definitely were the stronger duo
Wow. Oh non, mais la D.
They were contested every
Oh, la
single
D.
game. This is, if anything, the first time we're seeing them have a little bit of space to work with, and that's one
Bon, en
thing
tout
you
cas,
have to
eux, ils ont
really
le spawn
appreciate,
pour eux
right?
tout seuls.
The
Donc, du coup, ils
adjustments
sont bien.
that are going to happen from day to
Le
day.
bateau, il y a du fight.
Yeah, I mean, breathing room doesn't
Entre
come
Z
easy,
Link.
and for a lot of these teams, it's all about
Ah ouais,
defending
Z-Link qui tombe
your respect
face à Mixon
for
et
a
Blacha.
drop. Mixon and Blaha, certainly a duo that struggled all throughout the course of
Ça va aller le
yesterday,
chercher,
but
ça va aller le
here
chercher
at
dans
the
la grotte, hein.
start, they seem like they might actually have the
Hi,
advantage
attention,
over
hein.
Antonio.
À
They're
tout moment,
trying
là,
to
il se prend un
solidify
big
this
car mal,
exchange.
frérot.
Z-Link already down and out for the
On
count,
sait que ça peut
but
aller très vite.
at this point, Mixon, Blaha, they're still taking their time. They
Est-ce
know
qu'il va
just
réussir à
how
faire le
crucial
2v1?
each and
Oh,
every
vrai,
point
ouais, il est en
they've
vrai
secured
box
today
fight
is
là,
going
hein.
to matter for their
Ouais,
position
ça va être
on the
compliqué,
leaderboard.
hein.
And if all teams, you know, this
Il faut qu'il
is the one that
s'enfonce,
makes it the
je
most
pense.
after such a, you know,
Je crois
ridiculously
que...
slow start
Ouais, il aura
for
pas le
them.
temps de s'enfoncer
They
en
have a
fait. Il va
lot
se
of
faire
ground to
push.
make up for.
Le
Now, do
pauvre.
keep in mind today's points are off of or based off of a 1.5x multiplier.
Aïe, aïe.
So any team, and we mean
Aïe.
any team, can absolutely rocket their way up into definitely a
Ça
global
continue à le
championship
push.
spot, but more importantly, into that money, right? And we're
Ouais,
talking
et
big
malheureusement,
money
ça
if you
tombe.
can get up toward that top 10. So for Mixon
Côté
and
Tonio,
Blaha,
ça
this is
tombe face aux balles de
fantastic start,
Blacha et
kicking
Mixon.
things off with 2 eliminations now. It's just worth so much more as opposed to yesterday.
Ah, les fights dans la grotte, hein. Ouah. C'est une vraie dinguerie. Oh, le clutch. Nice. Oh, pas mal, hein. Oh, la sneak. Oh, la sneak. Oh mon dieu. Oh, elle est magnifique. Oh, elle est magnifique. La sneak est vraiment magnifique. Seek et dash. Oh là là. Mais en fait, ce genre de strat là, on les voit vraiment partout maintenant. Les premiers à faire ce strat là, c'était Hardskill et Tips. C'était au chapitre 3 qu'on avait vu ces strats là en premier. Genre, ils attendent les gens sur leur rota. Et genre, ils analysent leur rota. Ensuite, ils les attendent sur leur rota pour pouvoir faire ça. Genre, vraiment, un truc d'analyse de fou. C'est 400 IQ, vraiment. Vraiment 400 IQ. Source. Ils ont gagné leur fight, nice. Mongal, côté Mongal, ils savaient que ça se passe plutôt bien. Ça rotate, tranquille. On avait Peterbot aussi, Peterbot à côté. Ouais, Clixa peut-être win pour la première fois. J'ai envie qu'il win, hein. J'ai envie qu'il win, mais il faut qu'il redoute Peterbot. Peterbot, ça va être compliqué. Oh, Dolzer! Oh, Dolzer, le frérot! L'ancien VCGO. Oh, faites du bien aussi, frère. Malheureusement, il est pas bien classé, mais j'espère qu'il va faire une remontada à Dolzer. C'est le frérot, lui. Batman Booga qui rotate. En plus, Click c'est avec Veno, donc du coup, puisque Veno a déjà win des FNCS, c'est que c'est un top fighter EU. Genre vraiment, je pense que à tout moment, Click il a ses chances. Parce que hier, on a vu, genre, Veno il avait 8 kills dans la late game, Click en avait 0, littéralement, mais genre, vraiment Veno, niveau kill en late game, c'est un monstre. Il est monstrueux en late game. Click aussi, hein. Mais ah ouais. Là, Veno, il a fait un taf monstrueux hier. Hein. Peterbot. Peterbot, je sais pas s'il va réussir à machin. À tout moment, il fait un pop-off sur Clicks, hein. Genre, son shoot est impressionnant. J'ai vu un clip sur Twitter de Peterbot. Genre, vraiment, le gars, on aurait dit vraiment un cheat. Mais, il y a des gens qui ont émis une théorie sur lui. C'est qu'il prendrait des substances illicites qui te permettent de rester concentré. En fait, t'as des substances, je sais plus comment ça s'appelle, hein. Mais c'est des substances qui permettent de il prend ça quoi. Et que c'est pas un cheat, mais que c'est juste ça. Mais normalement c'est illégal de faire ça. Après c'est un peu la rumeur qui court, on sait pas si c'est vrai, mais en tout cas c'est une rumeur qui court. Conti Jackpo. Pour l'instant là ça se fight pas trop. Ça se regarde un peu dans le blanc des yeux. Skittles. Lolin Box. Lolin Box. Ouais, Lolin Box Nitro. Bah ouais frère, tu peux rien faire. Hein. RIP Pink. Tu peux rien faire frérot. Cooper. Cooper en 1v2. Cooper il en est capable hein. Cooper en est capable. Bon après on a vu que Sick il est monstrueux. Je le connais pas mais hier hein, j'ai vu qu'il faisait des dingueries. Il a fait une dinguerie le frérot donc. Ah. Dash qui met des dégâts à Cooper. Attention. Est-ce que Cooper va décider de dodge ou est-ce qu'il va. Qu'est-ce qu'il fait? Qu'est-ce qu'il fait Cooper? Il va dans le sous-sol. Ah je me serais barré hein. Ah je me serais barré frérot. On sait que Cooper en est capable mais. Ah ouais. C'est chaud hein. Puis s'il n'y a pas de reshield. Compliqué. Ah si il en a. Nice. À tout moment il peut caler. Oui il a encore un peu de reshield, ça va. Box fight. Et ça vient des deux côtés là. Ouais ça vient des deux côtés pour essayer de lui mettre la pression. Ça c'est bien ce que Sick et Dash ils font. Mettre la pression des deux côtés. Après lui il est en haut. Donc il attend que Cooper. Voilà, c'était sûr. C'était sûr, voilà. Il a attendu que Cooper monte. Je savais que c'était ça. Genre il a laissé Sick mettre la pression de ce côté-là pour que Cooper puisse avoir envie de monter. Et quand Cooper est monté, ben il s'est fait attendre. Oh, Clix. Clix. Oh non. No. What? Il est sorti à 1 HP? What? Et ils ont fait un replay sur ça quand même, hein? Il est sorti à 1 HP. Mais par contre, c'est vrai que heureusement qu'il est sorti à 1 HP quand même, parce que là, s'il était mort et qu'il y avait une team qui voyait qu'il était mort, il l'aurait pas lâché, hein. Allez, Big Clicks. The Big Clicks. Attention, il y a Ticket à côté. Il y a Ticket Taverne à côté. Ça les joue pas, ça a pas l'air de vouloir les jouer. Par contre, Veno a l'air très low niveau heal blanc. Ok, côté Conti, ça se fight. Wow, le fight. Ah ouais. C'est vraiment Shirig à fond là. Il y a volonté de nuire. Chef. Ok. Sanok Sigma. Flo qui se retrouve en 1v2 face à Conti et son mate. Est-ce qu'il va réussir son 1v2? Et malheureusement, full piece. Et le kill récupéré de la part de Conti sur Flo. En vrai, ouais. Malheureusement, c'est ça, hein. Genre, maintenant, on voit plus trop des 1v2 comme avant. Malheureusement, depuis qu'ils ont enlevé les 200 en pompe, genre, on voit plus ce genre de truc. On voit des 1v2, mais c'est plus des 1v2 en fin de zone, genre. En fin de zone, on voit ça. Mais là, en early game comme ça, là, c'est chaud, hein. Ton mate, il meurt. Ouh, pas mal ça. Nice clicks. En plus, c'est sur pause, hein. C'est sur pause. Nice. Peter Bot qui se fait push par Tyson et Hamzo. Jour, la première fois qu'ils se font push, mais que c'est pas eux qui push. Ah non, ils volent juste Rota. Ok. Sage décision. Sage décision. Peter Bot t'as qu'à chier gars à zot. Ah ouais. Ah, ça va, ils ont pris une bonne pause. Ah, ils ont une bonne pause par ici. C'est bien. Nice, en plus ils ont du reshield, des nitro. Ah, ils sont vraiment bien par ici. À Corne et Cold, ils ont pas beaucoup de reshield. Ah, quoique. Quoique. Ok, Clix Veno. Trade Trashy. Ouais, c'était un fight. J'ai l'impression que ça avait engagé un fight, mais au final, ils ont préféré dodge. Sage décision de la part de Clix et Veno. Ça peut coûter très cher, hein. Ça peut coûter très cher de vouloir se fight à ce moment-là. Sachant qu'ils n'ont pas encore eu de points de top. Donc du coup, c'est pas encore rentable à 100%. Même s'ils ont pris des kills, mais pour l'instant, c'est pas si rentable que ça. Après, en même temps, un kill égale 6 points. Donc, à tout moment, oui, c'est rentable. Parce que si tu shield des gueules, là, je crois que j'ai, genre, vraiment, si t'as littéralement 5 kills, laisse-moi faire un calcul rapide et tout. Attends, calcul rapide, 5 kills, tu fais littéralement 100 points, hein. Attends, non, même pas. Bref, I don't know, mais vraiment, tu montes vraiment bien dans le classement. Avec 5 kills. Attention, attention au trap. Attention au trap de PXMP. Attention au trap. Ah, mais non. Putain, le con. Putain, le con. Je me suis dit, c'est pas son mate. Je me suis dit, c'est pas son mate. Ok, mon gars, ça va être chaud. Ok. Sous la hauteur. Genre, on espère que ça va bien se passer pour eux. Ouais, par contre, ils ont vraiment besoin de faire un comeback de fou furieux. Ils ont pas fait une très bonne première journée. Faut qu'ils fassent une bonne deuxième journée parce que sinon ils vont finir 30e. Donc ils seront venus en NA pour absolument rien du tout. Oui, ils ont un peu d'argent, certes, mais l'argent c'est pas ce qui manque à mon gars les Savages. Là, ils veulent juste aller chercher la qual au final global qui se déroule en septembre. Ils veulent juste aller la chercher. Mais là, si ça continue sur cette lancée-là, ah, ça va être compliqué. Ça va être compliqué pour eux. Vector V.
Making those adjustments and seeing if they can make up for what went wrong yesterday. You saw that Magra and Savage didn't really change their strategy.
Ok, pour l'instant c'est box, ça essaie de chercher de la storm un peu partout.
Basically, they kind of stuck to the same strat. Kelly and Vivid broke it down perfectly. They are still playing the same kind of cactus areas, which means that there are just less.
Ah, pour l'instant c'est chill. C'est le moment un petit peu chill où tout le monde essaye de prendre la storm un petit peu. Oh, Peter Bot Poyo sur l'île. Toujours. Toujours eux. Attention, on a un gros contest quand même. Hein. Ah ouais, on a un gros contest. Hein. Manchester City Coldeacon. Pour l'instant, ça se fait pas. Ils sont là, ils se regardent juste dans le blanc des yeux, mais... Oh, quoique. Oh, ça tente des trucs là. Hein. Ça tente des trucs. J'ai l'impression que côté Coldeacon, ça veut tenter quelque chose sur Poyo, peut-être. Oh, la balle. La petite balle, mais ça suffira pas pour notre polo. Donc... En plus, ils ont le médaillon shield, donc du coup, ouais. Par contre, fallait pas chercher Peter Bot. Hein. Peter Bot va, ouais. Cacher Galazot, hein. En plus, ils ont le médaillon de shield, c'est le meilleur médaillon. Je trouve vraiment que c'est le meilleur médaillon. T'as le médaillon nitro, c'est bien, hein. Mais ce médaillon là, c'est autre chose, vraiment. Côté Bougaya, on a vu qu'ils ont fait une très bonne première journée. Du coup, on espère qu'ils vont faire une deuxième bonne journée pour pouvoir potentiellement remonter dans le top 5. Pour l'instant, ça prend un petit peu l'info sur qui rotate pas. Ok, Tyson et Hamzo, toujours au même spot. Ils ont fait une T3. J'ai l'impression que ça va rota crash pas de fizz. Ouais, crash pas de fizz. Ça va peut-être atterrir sur Orti. Attention, hein. Un fight qui s'engage. Très risqué ce move. Mais ça va. Ça a l'air de plutôt bien se passer pour l'instant, même si ça se chie la gueule un peu partout, il prend un peu le focus. Ah oui, mais il est obligé de sauter sur quelqu'un en fait. Nice, le moins 60 qui part. Ah, il prend des tics de storm, il se fait all-in et ça meurt côté Hamzo. Tyson essaye de solo clutch, mais malheureusement, j'ai l'impression que ça passera pas, malheureusement, pour Tyson et Hamzo. Oh, la storm qui fait mal, hein. La storm qui t'oblige à te fight. Et malheureusement, ben, il te jette un peu dans la gueule de loup quand tu fais ça. Hein. T'es obligé de sauter dans les box de l'adversaire. Donc du coup, tu t'exposes à de nombreux dangers quand tu fais ça. C'est pour ça que tout le monde essaye de prendre la storm bientôt dans la game. Comme ça, ils sont pas obligés de faire ça. Parce que là, ils sont obligés de sauter dans la box de tout le monde. Ouais, là, Mero et Pink qui ressort vainqueur. En plus, il a 4 kills. 4 kills, ça le met super bien. Ça fait 2 fois 12 points. Hein. 24 points là. Juste avec 4 kills, il fait 24 points. Genre, vraiment, c'est une dinguerie. On se rend pas compte, hein. Mais 24 points en 4 kills, genre, c'est trop bien. Hein. Oh, la strat sur Ritz. Le full box. Aïe, 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 Ritz. Ritz, tu t'es pris une dinguerie par Mr. Savage. Click Veno. Click Veno le fight. Attention, ils sont un peu mal là. Hein. J'ai l'impression qu'au niveau heal blanc, ils sont pas très bien. Aïe aïe aïe. Et Veno le matelas l'a envoyé assez mal. Hein. Ouais, ça l'a envoyé dans la mauvaise direction malheureusement. Il est obligé d'être un peu plus loin de Clix. En plus, Clix se fait fight. Il a un HP. Ouais, Clix dead. Malheureusement. Ça récupère le stuff de Clix. Veno va devoir solo clutch. On sait qu'il en est capable. Mais par contre, ça va être très compliqué parce qu'il n'a pas beaucoup de matériaux. Donc à tout moment, il doit essayer de récupérer le kill sur New Face. Le kill qui est récupéré par Veno sur New Face. Oh, la storm qui est mise encore. Il va pas prendre les maths. Il va pas prendre les maths. Jour, il va pas prendre les maths. Mais il est obligé d'aller prendre les maths. Chef, t'as pas beaucoup de maths là. Photo. Je pense qu'il va retourner sur les maths. Ouais, voilà. Voilà. Là, ça le met plutôt bien. Il est de retour à 800 de matériaux. 800 de matériaux, ça va, mais c'est pas non plus exceptionnel. Je pense que, littéralement, pendant la late game, il va devoir reprendre encore un refresh. Ça va être très compliqué. Ok, la zone qui bouge, il va devoir bouger en même temps. Côté Peterbot Puyo, ils sont bien. Hein, donc, genre Veno, puisqu'il se retrouve en solo clutch là. Si Veno il meurt très tôt, à tout moment, on a un comeback de Peterbot qui repasse à la première place. Ok, Paco, la rotated de Paco qui passe bien. Côté Veno, c'est toujours en vie, on a vu. Mais il est toujours pas en zone, donc il va devoir faire sa rota. J'ai l'impression que ça l'attend côté Paco. Paco attend Veno. À tout moment, il met un gros laser à Veno, ça peut très mal se passer pour lui. Ah, ça tente. Veno qui tente des choses. Hein. Aïe, 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 ça prend énormément de dégâts côté Veno. Malheureusement, je crois que... Ah... Ça s'annonce compliqué là pour Veno et Clix. Nice, le kill récupéré. Oh, il survit, il survit. Mais c'est quoi ce mec? Mais c'est quoi ce monstre? Mais ce monstre, il survit. Aïe, 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 aïe. Ah. Attends, what? Malgré tout ça, il était en dessous de la storm. What? Oh, mon gars, le solo clutch. Ah, il est dans le mal aussi, mon gars, là. Ah, le frérot, il est dans le mal. Good luck. J'ai la chef. Nice. La rota est plutôt clean, nice. Par contre, j'ai vraiment l'impression que mon gars, il a repris des mécaniques de fou, hein. Ouais, je pense vraiment Peter Bot va passer devant. S'il fait une bonne late, il passe devant. Vraiment. Aïe, 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 pour Boga. Ah, pour Boga, c'est une autre histoire, par contre. C'est qu'à tester survivre, tester river, mais... Pas ni heal, pas ni mat. Il a quelques mats, mais ça va pas passer, malheureusement, ouais. Pour Boga, c'est très compliqué. Ça ne passera pas. Je vois pas... Ah ben, il est là. Peterbot. Peterbot va repasser devant. Pour le coup, j'ai vraiment l'impression que Peterbot va repasser devant. Nice. Côté Peterbot, ça se passe bien. Ils ont le médaillon de shield, donc du coup, ils ont même pas besoin de shield, en fait. Côté Mongral, ça solo clutch toujours. Ouh, ça tente des choses. Attention. Attention à ne pas prendre le focus. En plus, il lui reste trop de matériaux. Malheureusement, s'il se fait spray. Ouais, ben oui. C'est ça. Il se fait spray. Et... Malheureusement, ça tombe côté Mongral. Paper. Paper qui reste son pote. Ça fonctionne. Nice. Vraiment, la rapidité en fin de zone comme ça, alors que ça full bug, c'est censé full bugger, que genre une full rapide comme ça, c'est une dingue le zero ping. C'est là où tu te rends compte qu'il y a vraiment un gap entre le zero ping et le 50. Vraiment. Les mecs sont bien rapides. Genre, malgré les drops d'FPS, c'est pas ça qui va les empêcher. Oh, Peterbot qui récupère un kill sur trade. Ils ont 3 kills, hein. 3 kills, ah oui, ça... ça vit, hein. Ils sont déjà repassés devant Click Sevino, là, je crois. Waouh, ok, Peter. Ok. Là, il va drop le médaillon, voilà, ça va... Ils vont faire ça à chaque fois. Ça va switch. Et vu qu'ils ont les mécaniques bons, ben voilà. Hein. Oh là là. Oh, si le gars ne cheat pas, frère, c'est... Non, c'est vraiment une singerie. Après, pour ouvrir le débat sur le cheat de Peterbot, vraiment, je me dis, c'est pas possible. C'est pas possible parce que Fortnite a dû faire des vérifications eux-mêmes. Parce qu'ils savent très bien qu'il y a des suspicions sur Peterbot. Donc forcément, ils vont faire des recherches. Ils vont regarder, ils vont vérifier les fichiers du jeu du gars. Ils vont tout vérifier sur lui. Et s'ils ont rien trouvé, ben... Voilà quoi. Après, il y en a qui disent que c'est DMA. I don't know. But... Voilà. Hein. Pour l'instant, ça se passe plutôt bien pour eux. La rota est plutôt clean. La rota est pixel. La rota est magnifique. Par contre, côté Mero et Pink, ça fait une remontada de fou. Ils ont 8 kills. Paper et Vector V. Oh, Paper qui a mal crashpad. Oh, le mauvais crashpad. Oh non. Oh non. Non, pas comme ça. Non, pas comme ça. Ok, Duke sur le high. Duke sur le high ground. Peterbot, toujours en clutch. Nice. Ouais, ils sont en situation de clutch là, ils ont rien. Hein. Mais comment ils survivent? Mais ils survivent encore hein? Ah, malheureusement ça tombe côté Peterbot. Ouais, Oliver Oji est toujours en finale, c'est vrai. Eh ben, c'est le top 1 de Duke et son duo. Waouh. Par contre, Clix, il s'est fait devancer de malade. Hein. Ah, Clix s'est fait devancer. Hein. On va regarder le classement, mais Clix s'est fait devancer là, chef. Attends, mais c'est... Il est où, il est où, il est où, il est où, il est où? Ah, il est là. Nice. Peterbot Poyo, premier. Ouais, ils ont presque 100 points d'avance. Hein. Bolt, quatrième. Duke, qui est passé troisième. Epic. Paper. Ok. Et il est où Dolzer? Oh, mon gars, Mr. Savage, ils ont pris quelques places. Il est où Dolzer? Je le vois pas. Ok, mes yeux sont pas bons. Dolzer, ah mais il est là, mais il est 48ème le frérot, non. Après il est déjà comme arrivé en grande finale, c'est déjà bien. Global, les fences global. Ah, je l'attends hein, cette année. Je veux voir ce que Peterbot va faire, hein, parce que là c'est Prime Peterbot. Donc du coup je veux voir ce qu'il va faire hein, au global. Imaginez la perf de Peterbot en global. Non mais vraiment, ça va choquer tout le monde. Hein. Je pense vraiment que ça va le considérer vraiment comme le meilleur joueur au monde. Littéralement. Oh, Mr. Savage a lancé son live. Mr. Savage. On reste sur la pauvre de Mr. Savage. Qui regarde. Il regarde le replay lui aussi. Par contre le kill était incroyable. Par contre le live de Mr. Savage il bug toujours hein. À chaque fois le live de Missy bug. C'est une dingue.
I mean, a win with 10 kills is 160 points. That's half the points we need.
Oh, mais les gens, mais genre vraiment, non, en fait, c'est indécent ce que Peterbot arrive à faire. C'est juste indécent. C'est vrai que c'est le prodige, frère. Ah, là il va voir la mort de Pepper. Je suis sûr il va dire ce que ce mec c'est un as. Ah non, il a rien dit. Il a rien dit. C'est une dinguerie de clutch comme ça. Hein.
When he's spraying your wall, by the way, with a burst or a combat AR, you know the bullets are gonna go through. You can't just hold the one stand there. You need to edit a corner and put this there.
Ouais.
Yeah, I know, but still, you will get tied through the wall.
Il y a Virgo et Shadow.
Sphinx and Dukes winning the first game.
Et là, boum, ils ont récupéré la win. Nice, hein? Mr. Savage! Faut vous réveiller là. Faut vous réveiller là. Faut faire un bon truc là. Mon gars, le Mr. Savage. On attend un bon classement là. Ils sont venus en NA spécialement pour détruire les NA. Je veux voir ça. Détruisez les NA puisque vous voulez détruire d'après vous. Moi-même je l'encourage, hein. Je l'encourage littéralement. Je télé détruire les NA. Par contre oui, ce que c'est l'action que Sik a fait hier. L'action était magnifique, hein. Sik il a fait une dinguerie. Ce mec là, il va péter sur les réseaux. Hein. Si Missy a un compte Twitch ou un truc comme ça, une chaîne YouTube, Missy va péter. Frère, les actions que Missy a sorties, c'est une singerie.
I mean,
Moi, il y a un
what a way
comeback
to
de
start
malade,
the
hein.
day. As you can
Ils ont
already
fait un
see,
comeback de fou, hein.
356 points total. You know that winning that game plus 100 points plus all those elims.
Vraiment, ils ont fait un comeback de malade.
Substantially. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is gonna be classic NA, isn't it, Kelly?
La
Like, one
game
of
de
these
fou.
teams that we weren't really talking about towards the top of the leaderboard, and then all of a sudden, day 2 comes around, points are worth more.
Par contre,
They just
DMA, hein,
insert themselves
quand
into the
tu arrives à
competition.
gérer ça en end zone, j'en suis tellement bien.
Isn't it crazy that we can
Parce qu'une
literally
balle de
take
DMA
an
en
FCS
60,
champion and
gros,
just kinda
tu te
discredit
régales,
them
hein.
because there's so many
Moi,
FCS
60 comme ça dans la
competing
tronche,
here
non, tu te
today
régales.
that we can overlook
Après, il faut savoir
someone like
gérer.
Dukes and Spinks, and they ended off day 1 in 10th place. So you know, obviously
Mais c'est
trying to
vraiment
go for that
insane,
spot in the global championships after getting the first victory royale of day 2. I can expect them
Game
to
8
keep this
dans 4
going.
minutes.
Yeah, right. We just like you said, we gotta keep this going, right? We can't.
Connaissant mon Graal, il est en BF. On parie combien? Ah ben non. Ok. Never mind. The big clicks. Ok, ben on attend.
Look to catch up for Clicks and Veno. Something just wasn't right here at this first game of the day, and they went down.
Par contre,
getting
ah
too many
ouais.
of these points. That means everyone else was able to
Veno, il
kinda,
est
like,
monstrueux.
catch
hein.
up.
Yeah, but Venom, I mean, listen,
Genre, il avait
yeah,
perdu un peu de
it's
niveau à un
a
moment
solo
parce que
situation
genre,
here.
un moment il
Pick up
faisait
eliminations
des
by himself.
dingueries et
That's
tout.
definitely gonna be a couple
Il avait
of
perdu un peu
points
de
that
niveau.
even squeaking into the
Et au
top
final, là, il a
couple
retrouvé
of
tout son
placing
niveau.
points,
Le
but
gars,
this is
il...
one of those instances where it's
Vraiment,
like, okay,
oh,
Clicks
c'est
and Venom,
vraiment
yeah,
une
they kind of made
singerie.
it to 8th zone, as you can
Là, ils
see
avaient
now
juste
as
pas
a
la storm,
solo,
malheureusement.
but this game honestly was lost way earlier than this, right? We saw that highlight earlier on where Clicks literally made it out of the zone with 1 HP. They were just so far behind on the rotate for some reason.
Mais là, je les attends. Je les attends. Là, il faudrait juste que Peterbot fasse une mauvaise game.
Yeah, we
Si
should have
Peterbot
said
fait une
the
mauvaise
stat
game,
at the
genre,
start of the
Clicks
show
Veno, ils
that Clicks and Veno collectively
s'envoler,
were
hein.
only solo competitors for 71 seconds. Veno only 11 seconds was he ever solo. And I'm guessing that number has
Mais il y aura
gone
une
up quite
battle.
a
Et je
little
l'avais
bit,
dit
but
hier, hein, je l'avais
Veno,
call hein, en
obviously,
plus.
regardless of
J'avais
what
call
the
qu'il y aurait une
situation
battle
is in,
entre
he's able to pull
Clicks
out
Veno
crazy plays,
et
keep
Peterbot
himself
Puyo.
going. So,
Je l'avais
although
call.
this might not have been the best game, I am not counting out this duo.
Genre, c'est une dinguerie.
Yeah, we still 5-1, right? It's fine. It's fine. Nobody panic, please. Zeke, don't panic. But that little number there in the top right, you saw Clicks and Veno in second
Allez,
place,
Clicks.
which means they were overtaken.
Va nous
by
chercher ce
Peterbot
titre.
and Poyo. These guys saw them go down in the Olympiad, and it was just like we have chummed the water, right?
Peterbot,
Like
hein.
these sharks are now here. They are ready to take a bite out of this entire lobby. They are
Le
sitting on
shoot de
433
Peterbot, hein.
points. This is going
Le
to get
shoot
out of
de
hand
ce
very
mec,
quickly,
hein.
Vivid, unless we slow them down.
Yeah, good luck. See, go ahead, try to slow down, Peter. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, I mentioned it yesterday, right? Those
Wow.
first 3 games were like, yeah, they picked up points, but it was honestly just simply off the back of Peterbot picking up incredible solo clutches. And then the last 3 games was like, okay, now they're making it to the end game as a duo, and I was like, this is going to be the start, right? Now they're
J'aurais
finding their
vraiment
groove,
aimé
and,
être
that groove
à
has
côté de
continued
ces gars-là
today,
pour
which, yeah,
savoir,
that's
fait genre pour voir vraiment
super
comment ils
scary,
jouent,
especially
genre.
for anybody
c'est-
that is looking to win
Je sais
this
pas
competition,
comment dire
because
ça,
now,
mais
with a lead, like you
tu
mentioned,
t'aurais envie de tester le setup du gars en fait, littéralement. Tester le setup du gars, genre tout tester. Genre, oh, c'est une singerie.
Who needs a dash coin when you have 2 of the best weapons in the game?
2
on a
minutes la
player
prochaine
like
game.
Peterbot, it is just ridiculous. Something needs to happen with this Rift Island. They were able to get it 50% of the games
par contre, il est
yesterday. and
vraiment
they
monstrueux,
already
hein.
got it in game 1 today.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why we're letting Peterbot and Boyo roam free, right? Somebody please just try and stop them.
Ils vont pas s'arrêter. Peterbot et Poyo, tu peux pas les arrêter, c'est mort. Par contre, ouais, Pink et Mero, mention honorable pour eux, hein. Ils ont fait une remontada de fou, hein.
Actually, really funny. Before today,
Ils sont
you know,
vraiment
kind of
monstrueux,
kicked
hein.
off for NA Taco. Our caster, of course, was actually just like what was going on with Pink and Mirror, like bouncing ideas off me. And I'm just like, yeah.
Et malheureusement,
I think it's just
genre,
kinda
il y en
sounds
a
like
un
Mirror
qui est
was
mort
just going
bêtement,
down a
je
little
sais
bit
plus c'est
early in
qui.
some of those games,
Il y en a un qui est mort
but
bêtement.
clearly
Par
figured
contre,
that out.
Mero,
I mean, listen,
solo
there's a
clutch.
statement to be made by Mirror
Ah,
himself,
malheureusement,
right?
il est
Maybe he had
mort
a bad day number
très
1.
tôt.
Picking up 6 eliminations in game number 1 of day number 2 is definitely way
Oh, Mero le
put yourself
BG.
back on track.
Oh, le BG.
They had 52 points at the end of day 1.
Lui, il fait
Now
des
they
meufs,
have
lui. Lui, il fait des meufs, je suis sûr.
154. I mean, Vivid, we were talking about this Kendix being able to jump up so far in the EU leaderboards, and we see Pink and
Allez,
Miro
45
doing the
secondes.
exact same thing right now.
On veut du fight, on veut du
We
fight.
cannot forget, this is a global champion in Miro, and when you pair him up with an all-star like Pink, they're likely
On
a
veut
day
des
two fight.
fights.
We have 5 more games
On
for
veut
them
des
to
full
kinda say,
pistes de
hey, I know
partout.
day 1 was kind of rough, but watch us here in day number 2. There's also like a couple players that went
On veut
crazy
des edits
as
dans
well
tous
in
les
that last
sens.
game. We saw Victor V, we
Chef.
saw Paper, we saw Epic Whale and Muzz. I mean, dude, this first game was wild out of all of these duos. Vivid, you can really
Stop
tell
les
they
blabla
are
là.
fighting for these
Montrez-nous
spots.
la game.
Yeah, all of them doing very, very well. I will mention, you know, Mr. Savage and Mongrel, I wanted them to switch
Par
up their
contre,
storm strategy. It looks like they did
Mr.
that. They
Savage,
were all
Mongrel
the
là,
way
s'ils
up
font pas une
north
bonne game,
towards Reckless
yo pouille.
Railways. It's all that they were
Ah,
picking
yo
up
pouille.
eliminations and tags there, so they have
Je
definitely
le
come
colle
together with
déjà.
a
S'ils
different
font pas une bonne
strategy.
game
It
là,
just needs
ils
to
sont dans la merde.
be ironed out a little bit over the
Ils
course
peuvent
of the
pas,
next
ils vont peut-être pas pouvoir arriver dans le top 10. Sinon, il faudrait pas qu'ils faillent une seule game, genre.
Booga, and a few others, so maybe just a few little tweaks to be able to change up Storm Surge into this next game.
All right, this is it. Everything's fine.
Allez.
Everything's fine. That was a tester game. This is a real game. Game number 2 of the day. 8 overall casters. Take it away.
Thank you guys so much. And yeah,
Allez,
I
chef.
think Vivid kind
Stop
of
le
hit the
speech
nail
là.
on the head
Montre-nous
there,
les,
man. I
montre-nous
mean,
les contests.
I don't want to say that luck played a part because, you know, you never want to just have that as like a cop-out factor, right, Monster? But at the end of the day, I do think Miro and Pink had an
Miro et Pink, par contre,
unlucky day
je mets une
one.
pièce sur eux
And
pour
so
la
seeing that bounce
remontée.
back
À
after
tout
them
moment,
jumping up
ils
16
finissent
spots
entre le
on
top
the
10
leaderboard
et le
from
top
40th
5.
place where they'd started off
Je
already
pense.
in 24th. If they get some of those repeat moments and
Genre,
keep finding a
vraiment,
domination
première
and some
game,
strong
enfin,
placements, who knows,
genre,
they might
hier,
end up, but
jour 1,
lobby number
ils
8
étaient pas au
ready to
top,
go,
mais
so
là,
let's
jour
see what
2, j'ai
happens.
vraiment l'impression qu'ils sont là pour tout arracher. Bon. Allez, game 8. Allez, let's go.
And again, Monster, I don't mean to yap your ear
Les
off about it
contests,
by
les
any means,
contests.
but I do think that there are always going to be kind of like those isolated case studies when it comes
On aura la
to the
POV de
replays.
qui en premier?
And for some of these duos, you know, they can kind of recognize, hey, it just wasn't our day, but we'll take, you know,
La
day two
POV
into
de
our own hands.
Noisy.
I really do feel like a team like Mika Miro, especially with the way they're kind of exchanging the back calls to each other,
Ouais.
that's definitely the case.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Miro's someone who
Vas-y
obviously
contre Oliver
knows
Oji.
how to lock in, right? And he's going to hold himself accountable every step of the way. So to see him play the way he
Est-ce que ça va
did,
bien se
that's the
passer?
type of form that we expect of him. And I think yesterday,
On a vu que tout à l'heure là, ils ont eu le spawn pour eux tout seuls. Là, maintenant, ils sont en contest.
we're not finishing up.
Du
You
coup,
know,
là, ça
in
va
at least
pas
global
si bien se passer que ça.
championship qualification
À part s'ils win le
territory,
spawn.
right? And they can do just that. So 100
J'espère pour eux parce que là,
that's a
ça...
monstrous
En vrai, là, ils sont
comeback.
plutôt bien. Niveau vie, là, ils ont l'avantage.
One
Ils ont l'avantage. En plus, ils ont des matériaux, ils ont tout. Il n'y a aucun monde où ils win pas. Il n'y a aucun monde. Là, ouais, ils préfèrent dodge. Moi, ils préfèrent dodge et aller en bas jouer box fight. Attention, faut pas trop spray parce qu'il a pas beaucoup de il a pas beaucoup de balles. Donc à tout moment, il spray trop, il se retrouve à 0 balles. Donc du coup, faut faire très attention à ça. Oh! Oh, 4-5Q! Oh, 4-5Q! Oh mon dieu! Ok, Oliver Oji. Ok, j'ai rien dit, c'est trop fort. Non, ça, j'aurais même pas pensé. J'aurais même pas pensé à ça. Non, c'est 4-5Q, frère. Vraiment. Oh. Oh, nice. Oliver Oji. Oliver... Oh! Oh, le clutch de baiser! Oh, le clutch de baiser! Waouh! Waouh, la singerie! Oh, frère! Par contre, là, je m'attendais pas à le voir clutch, lui. Clix Veno, côté Clix Veno, ça se passe bien. Eux, ils sont on contest, du coup, ils sont toujours bien. Après, c'est pour la Storm qui sont un peu dans le mal à chaque fois. Ils sont obligés d'aller chercher de la Storm sur un peu tout le monde. Et pour l'instant, ça va, ils sont chill, ils sont en train de looter, tranquille. Par contre, j'espère qu'il va pas rester avec ce pompe-là. Parce que bon, un pompe de guerre gris en late game, bon, c'est pas que... Mais... mais je pense pas qu'il va aller très loin avec. Oh, sick. Mais Sick et Dash, ils nous font une hard skill classique au chapitre 3. Qui se rappelle de la masterclass de hard skill et tips à l'époque du chapitre 3? Ils faisaient ça, ils changeaient de spawn à chaque fois. Et en fait, ils allaient cut des rotas à tout le monde. Ils avaient fait une strat comme ça sur un Dilex à un moment. Et bien là, Sick et Dash, ils sont en train de faire la même chose. Ils changent de spawn à chaque fois et ils essayent de cut la rota des gens. Juste pour les surprendre. Pour l'instant, c'est assez compliqué là. Au niveau du box fight là, j'ai l'impression que c'est Victor V qui a l'avantage sur le fight. J'ai l'impression que ça essaye de dodge. Le moins 20 qui part. Ok, ça va pas les suivre, j'ai l'impression. Ça va juste essayer de placer la storm dessus. Nice, ça donne la grosse à son coéquipier. Malheureusement, la strat c'est pas si bien passé que ça. Je pense que ce qu'il voulait c'était récupérer 2 kills. Mais malheureusement, ça passe pas. Côté Bolt, c'est très low. Mais ça va.
Gotta keep fishing, right? Gotta keep looking for activity and tags. Pulses seems to have taken a lot of damage here. Potentially exchanging with some teams.
Sprite dab.
And we get the update. Pink and Miro.
Fight contre Miro et Pink. Loading box qui est tenté de la part de Pink. Non, la reprise de hauteur. Les backs. Oh. Ok. Day qui sait pas trop quoi faire, qui essaie de temporiser un petit peu. Ça se locate un peu des deux côtés, ça essaie de chercher des strats un peu pour crack l'ennemi. Est-ce que ça va dodge ou est-ce que ça va continuer le fight à la mort? Mais j'ai l'impression que si Day et Sprite dodge, ils sont vraiment mal parce que en fait Miro et Pink vont les suivre, genre c'est sûr. Ils vont pas les laisser. Donc ils sont obligés de les jouer. Tu vois un mec qui dodge, tu vas pas le laisser dodge. Il les laisse dodge? Jour, il les laisse. Miro et Pink, ils aiment tirer des gueules, mais... Ok. Mais nice, hein. Ok, le fight. Le link box. Peut-être le link box. Ça temporise un peu plus. Ok, côté statics, ça se soigne. Ça push, côté source. Attention, le full piece, ça met très low statique. Ouais, mais il fonce dedans, hein. Il en a rien à faire. Hein. Pofi la grosse balle, Pofi nice. Mais les deux kills récupérés par Pofi. Nice, hein. Mon gars, les Savage dans leur box. Ok, ça va rotate, non? Pourquoi il est sorti de la box? Oui, il va rotate. Oh, ils vont aller se positionner à un autre endroit, je pense. Ah, c'est bien ça. Ils vont aller se positionner à un autre endroit. Bacha. On va faire un truc. On va tenter un truc. On regarde juste ça. Oh. Le fight. On va tenter un truc pour voir ce que ça passe. Si ça passe, c'est masterclass. Hein. Ok. Je tente. Si ça passe, c'est masterclass. Wait. Allez, charge. En fait, je vais regarder la rediffusion directement sur le jeu. Comme ça, on pourra mettre la POV qu'on veut. Oula,
between
oula,
Clicks
oula.
and Benno and Peterbot and Pollo. So
On
it's
a
sort
eu
of
quand
drew
même un
away
petit
a lot of the
freeze.
attention that had initially been fixated on Baka and Bars, which is
Bon, on attend.
surprising when you
On
consider
va
the
se remettre
fact
sur la
that
POV de Fortnite
Baka
en
and
attendant que
Bars,
ça
I mean,
charge.
they had a pretty strong
Coldercorn
start.
qui joue un
They
petit
had
peu
a
plus
victory royale even,
agressif.
but
Ils veulent pas se faire tuer au point par la Storm Surge. Ok. Côté AJ, ça se défend plutôt bien. Ok. Ouais, ça se fight pour le truc de Nitro. Hein. Ça veut la pause. Ils veulent la pause, hein. Ah, ils préfèrent dodge. Je pense sage décision hein, de dodge là comme ça. Hein. Très bonne décision. On va retenter. Ah, voilà. Hop. Voilà. On va regarder est-ce que la game est disponible. Non, pas encore. Côté Peterbot, 433 points. Waouh. Est-ce qu'ils vont réussir à faire 1000 points? À mon avis, c'est pas possible hein, de faire 1000 points là. Ils peuvent pas, hein. Genre, là, ils sont à 433. À part s'ils tapent des games avec le shot kill et tout, je pense pas, hein. Bon, ça. Mon gars le savait, ils se fight jamais. Ils veulent pas se fight, j'ai l'impression. Hein. Ils veulent se fight juste en late. Genre, ils essayent plus de focus les late que se fight. Ouais, ça rotate. Côté Baka, ça strat. En plus, il a perdu son duo. Coldercorn très agressif. Hein. Ah oui. Très agressif. Sur Eonzo et Tyson, là, ça... Ah oui. Oh, la belle balle. La belle balle des deux côtés. Côté Eonzo, ça back. Akon qui prend une balle. Ça se défend plutôt bien côté Tyson. On sent l'expérience. L'expérience, la maîtrise. Combien d'entre nous seraient déjà morts à ce moment-là? Ok, ils préfèrent dodge. Ouais, mais ça engage, ça engage toujours les fights pour après dodge. Après, ça permet de pouvoir mettre des petits dégâts quand même pour la Storm Surge. C'est pas mal, mais en tout cas, ça fait user pas mal de matériaux. Du coup, très attention à tout ça. Côté Batman Booga, ça fait une petite tour, ça essaie de prendre des types de Storm. Tranquille. Ça cherche des gens. Ça cherche des gens pour trade. Peterbot Pollo qui fight. Ah oui, Peterbot Pollo toujours, hein, toujours dans l'abus. Dans l'abus du bail. On va retenter d'avoir la POV Fortnite. Hop. 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 Chef. Nice. On a quelques petits bugs. Oh, côté mon gars, ça veut que ça se fight. On regarde le fight et ensuite on va essayer d'avoir la POV. Je veux voir la POV de Peter Buck du début jusqu'à la fin. Je veux voir s'il se passe des dingueries en live. À tout moment, il... Ah ouais. Ok, ça préfère Dodge côté Moral Savage. Et on essaye d'avoir le... Oula, chef. Voilà, merci beaucoup. On peut pas voir là. On peut pas voir la game toujours. C'est dommage. Ça aurait été bien que Fortnite fasse un truc pour qu'on puisse voir le truc. Pour qu'on puisse voir les games en live. Parce qu'on peut voir les games en live, mais ça arrive vraiment très tard. Hein. Genre, c'est quand eux ils arrivent en late game. Oula, ouh. Très belle balle. La rotate. Ok. Ça va prendre des fiches. Ah, ils ont pas beaucoup de matériaux, ils sont obligés de back. Attention à Conti. Hein. À tout moment, Conti. Ok. Ça a pas l'air de vouloir faire des dingueries sur mon gars et Savage. Ils vont plus opter pour la strat Horizon. On a vu qu'on a eu, ça fonctionnait bien. La strat Horizon, il fonctionne plutôt bien. Tu passes pas mal de temps en zone et puisque ça se joue plus trop au kit, ben ils ont pas trop besoin de ne pas prendre le tick de storm. Ok, ça donne des balles à son coéquipier. Je sais qu'on a vu, il est vraiment très bon. À tout moment, ouh, nice, la belle balle sur Acorn. Non, ce mec est monstrueux. Six, c'est le futur GOAT. Hein. C'est le futur GOAT, ce mec. Ah, malheureusement, c'est low côté Six. Ce mec, c'est une pépite. Genre. Niveau mécanique, niveau brain, il a trop de mécanique, il a trop de cerveau. Genre. Ce mec a 4-5 IQ. Nice. La petite balle. Ça suit dash. Attention. Hein. Ça peut aller très vite là. Ah, j'ai bien l'impression que ça bug pour eux. Salut Mathéo. Pour l'instant, c'est Peter Bot et Poyo qui sont premiers du classement. Et Clix et Veno sont deuxième pour l'instant. À tout moment, si Peter Bot meurt très tôt, Clix et Veno peuvent faire un comeback. Par contre, dans le cas inverse, si Clix et Veno meurent très vite, Peter Bot peut les lâcher. Côté Mr Savage et Mongal, ça se passe pas très bien malheureusement. Ça se passe pas si bien que ça. Ils arrivent à arriver en zone, ça passe, mais malheureusement ils sont pas très bien niveau maths. Niveau storm aussi, ils sont en dessous de la storm. Il est obligé de chercher des tics de storm sur quelqu'un. Il trouve toujours pas. Il le cherche, il cherche le mec solo, il sait qu'il y a un mec solo ici. Et là, la strat crash pad, ouais, ça va aller chercher. Ils sont obligés d'aller chercher, ils sont obligés de l'all-in. S'ils l'all-in pas là, ils sont morts. Oh là là, oh la balle. Tony est vraiment très fort. Tony sur mon val. Tony qui finit Mr Savage. Ah mon gars, j'ai l'impression qu'il a pas de matériaux mon gars. Ouais mon gars, il a pas de matériaux, il a l'air de pas avoir. Il ne build pas. Ouais, il a zéro de matériaux. Il est obligé d'essayer d'all-in. Peut-être l'all-in de Mongal, peut-être. Qui peut créer la surprise, hein. On n'oublie pas, il a pour 3 balles, ça va très vite. La balle des deux côtés, attention, ça, oh, ah, ça se joue à une balle, hein. Ça se joue vraiment à une balle. Attention, ça peut aller très vite. Ok. Il se met pas de bandage. À tout moment, un bandage pouvait le sauver là. Ah, il veut juste mettre la pression, mais malheureusement, ah, c'est chaud. Ouais, malheureusement, il met pas une autre team. Aïe, aïe, aïe. Ouais, côté Mongal Savage, ça se passe pas du tout très bien. Mais j'ai l'impression que c'est Savage qui se fait carry par Mongal maintenant. C'est une dinguerie parce que, genre vraiment, Mongal il a fait tellement de clutch là pendant la grande finale. Genre hier, il a fait déjà une dinguerie. Non, là aujourd'hui il refait des dingueries. Non, c'est chaud. Même aux phases de qualification, il faisait des dingueries. Bakaka sur le clutch. Peterbot et Poyo toujours en vie. Ok, ça va profiter du crash pad de Peterbot. Ok, nice. Nice, les tics de Storm. C'est bientôt en zone côté Blacha. Baka, je dis Blacha, à chaque fois alors que c'est Baka. Sprite qui tombe. Côté Click Seveno, ça se passe plutôt bien, la route a été clean. Peterbot qui se retrouve en solo clutch. Peterbot, on sait qu'il est très fort en solo clutch, donc du coup, faut pas sous-estimer ça. Hein. Oh là là, la grosse balle! Il va quand même prendre le fight, hein. Il a pas peur de 1v2. Peterbot a pas peur. Hein. Pas peur, mais c'est pas peur. 1v2, alors. Les autres quand même. C'est Peterbot qui l'a. Attention, hein. Oh, oh. Le spray sur AJ. Oh, le kill sur AJ. Nice. Ok. Nice. Non mais Peterbot, hein, quel monstre. Mais il est monstrueux ce mec. Je suis sûr qu'il va lâcher un clutch de baiser encore. Oh, Clix Veno vs Peterbot, attention hein. Clix Veno vs Peterbot. Oh. Oh, Clix K3 kill. Aujourd'hui, peut-être que c'est Clix qui va arriver, non? Peut-être. Attention. Par contre, c'est stack de ce côté de la map là. Et forcément, la zone est par ici, donc du coup, tout le monde fait le rota un petit peu plus en avance. Ça avance, ça avance. Côté Veno et Clix, ça se passe bien. Hein. Ils sont bien niveau matériaux, ils ont tout. Si Peterbot meurt assez tôt, ils peuvent vraiment le rattraper très très rapidement. Parce que j'ai l'impression que la fête zone va se passer plutôt bien pour eux. Genre, il n'y a aucun monde où ça se passe pas bien. Ah, je perds mes mots. Chef, rendez-moi mes mots, chef. 406 points. Oh, on a vu Peterbot. Peterbot qui vient de tomber. Ah, là, pour Clix. Là, Clix, il se frotte les mains, là. Là, c'est sûr que Clix, il se frotte les mains. Là. À tout moment, là, s'ils font un top 1, là... Non, non, pas encore ce qu'il a mis. Wow. À tout moment, Clix et Veno, là, ils font une dinguerie. S'ils font un top 1, ils remontent premier.
That was just nasty work right there. It's gonna put them up at 3 eliminations now.
254 au-dessus de la Storm Surge. Côté Baka, ça se passe plutôt mal. J'allais dire bien, mais non, plutôt mal. Le solo clutch est assez compliqué. Il va devoir rotate. En plus, il a cramé son crashpad. Le crashpad là. Oh, attends, peut-être. Oui, il survit, hein, mais attention, il n'a pas beaucoup d'HP. À tout moment, une grosse balle peut le tuer. Ça crame énormément de matériaux. Il va devoir trouver un refresh dans pas très longtemps. Parce qu'il va pas tenir toute la fin zone comme ça. Kicks Veno. J'ai l'impression que ça se passe. Qu'est-ce qu'il essaye de faire? Qu'est-ce qu'il essaye de faire? Ok. Oh, plutôt pas mal, nice. Nice. Les belles balles, hein. Là, oh, oh là là. Solide, hein. Ils sont solides sur les mains. Nice. Oh, ça récupère un kit. Oh, ça le met tellement bien. Oh, ça le met tellement bien le kit. Kicks Veno. Kicks Veno, faut pas les oublier non plus. Hein. S'ils vont chercher ce top 1, ils remontent premier. Ça va recreuser l'écart. Mais dans le sens inverse. Ce sera peut-être Kicks qui va devancer énormément Peter Bot. Voilà, la bataille entre les deux s'annonce incroyable. Hein. Ouh, côté Baka, attention, attention. Il le sait pas. Le moins 100. Oh non, il est mort, dommage. Ok, Kicks Veno. Nice, la belle balle de Veno. Ça replace. Bryce et Bolt sur le high. Hein. J'ai l'impression que ça va se jouer en 2v2 entre Bryce, Bolt et Kicks Veno. J'ai l'impression que ça va se jouer comme ça. Quoique Batman Boog a l'air bien niveau stuff, mais ouais, non, son pote est pas si bien que ça. Ouais, non, là ils sont en train de tout laver. Kicks Veno, ils sont en train de tout laver. Nice. Ah non, malheureusement ça tombe côté Clicks. Et Dress. Oh, nice. Oh. Oh là là. Il est obligé de temporiser. Ça passe le high, le spray. Il a pas de matériaux. Il est obligé de temporiser comme il peut. Il se faufile dans les builds. Il attend son kill. Il a récupéré son kill et il essaye de ne pas mourir de zone. Oh, malheureusement ça passe pas. Et Bolt c'est Bright. Je pense que... Voilà. Hein. Je pense que Trade Manchester City Trade, je t'aime bien, mais... je pense que... Ah ouais. Ou priez. Ou priez. Mais non, oui. Pas tester sur Vivo, puis voilà. Je savais ça. Bolts. Ah, attention, hein, parce que Bolts là, avec cette game là, il peut remonter très vite. Hein. J'ai pas eu le temps de voir combien de points là ils ont là, mais à tout moment ils se retrouvent dans le top 3 là. Hein. Dans le top 3, voire top 2. Et mais l'écart se resserre. Hein. Entre Clicks, Veno et Bolt et Bright. Avec Peter Bot. Non, il y aura une battle entre les trois en fait. Je pensais vraiment qu'il y aurait une battle entre les deux duos, mais là ce sera 3 duos qui vont se battre pour la victoire. Hein. Wow, c'est vraiment une dinguerie. En plus, Bolt, le gars il est vraiment chaud. J'ai vu ses highlights, j'ai vu son niveau. Je suis abonné à sa chaîne, le gars il est trop fort. Genre le mec, non c'est vraiment une dinguerie. Non, c'est chaud quand même. Yo Choufi, bien quoi? Bienvenue sur le live. Ça casse les FNCS en détente, tu connais, bien. Oh la finale globale, putain, oh je l'attends. Attendez, est-ce qu'on peut voir les... Est-ce qu'on peut voir les games là? Parce que là, à tout moment, les games sont dispo. Bon, il faudrait que ça arrête de freeze, mais merci beaucoup. On peut toujours pas voir les games. Ah non. Fortnite, vous nous faites quoi là? On peut pas voir les games. Oh. Pas du bien ça. Mister Savage, normalement il regarde. Voilà. La qualité s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup. Bon, là on revoit la late de Clix et Veno. Sur la pause de Clix. Oh, ils ont récupéré un kill et tout. Ah mais ils étaient bien dans la late hein. Oh, oh le backstab. Waouh. Il a réussi quand même à s'en sortir. Il a rejoint son mate. Oh. Comment il a fait? Comment il a fait? Ok. Ah mais là ils avaient 0 de maths. Les deux avaient 0 de maths en fait. Ils ont réussi à faire ça, ouais. Et là ils sont morts. Et la clique ça avait récupéré un tout petit peu de matériaux mais on évolue le backstab malheureusement. Du coup. Non mais vraiment. Là j'ai l'impression. Attendez, on va regarder le classement. Mais on a déjà regardé le classement, je suis bête. Voilà, Click Zeno qui repasse premier. Voilà. Bryce Bolts, je l'avais dit. Top 3. On aura une battle entre les trois là. On aura une battle. Lui aussi. Eux aussi là. Hein. Ils peuvent revenir. Hein. Eux ça va être compliqué. Après, tout est possible. Tout est possible. Mais ça va être compliqué. Voilà, c'est le moment où Manchester City t'es qu'à tester fait du bien. C'était qu'à tester survivre. Voilà, mais peut pas survivre. Tu peux pas, frère. Non, franchement, c'est une dinguerie. Ça, c'est une dinguerie. Allez, 40 secondes là. Sick. Non mais franchement ce mec, genre, il faut que je cherche sa chaîne YouTube, genre, mais il m'impressionne. Si qui m'impressionne. Je sais pas s'il a une chaîne YouTube ou pas. Attendez, on va chercher son tracker vite fait. Sick, point d'exclamation. On va chercher son tracker.
Nah, there's no way. When you guys see these standings, you're gonna lose it. Before we get there, though, Bryce.
Non, vraiment.
They get themselves a victory royale. Don't forget, 100 points for getting a victory
non, on trouve pas son
royale.
pseudo, dommage.
In this game, they decided to take height, and man, did they hold it.
Allez,
and
allez.
it was enough to take them
Charge.
all the way
Let's
to the
go.
very end. And Vivid down below. There was
Dommage,
just so
on trouve
much
pas son tracker comme
chaos.
ça.
These
Hein.
guys capitalize on every
Mais le mec est
single moment.
monstrueux.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible game, really, but it's just, you know, we kind of noticed this towards the end of yesterday in games 5 and 6, where
Ouais, cette
High
tailleur là. Elle est beaucoup jouée par les pros parce qu'elle met énormément de dégâts.
And Bolt's just like, yeah, hey, by the way, guys, we're like up here, we're just taking shots on everybody, nobody's really bothering us, and they just walk away with the win, right? Play the 2v1 at the end very, very well, and as you can see, right? 3
Ok, prochaine game dans 4 minutes 40.
Because again, nobody's really looking up. They can kind of save
On attend patiemment.
Pretty easy win for them.
Although we weren't able to see at the start
On attend, on
of the
attend.
game, I did notice also that Bryson Bolts were positioned
Pour l'instant, là,
themselves
quels sont vos
where this
pronostics là dans le
was gonna
chat?
go, and yesterday they were able to
Quelqu'un a
get
une idée
forecast
de
tower 3 out
qui
of
pourrait
6
potentiellement
games.
gagner
So I'm kind of wondering
les
if they were able to
FNCS?
take that forecast tower that's a little bit southeast of Reckless Railways over there, and that's part of the reason why they're able to kind of control height so well. But man, I love talking about solo clutches and threats being able to like come out and bring in
Oh,
a
l'habitude du
second
clavier.
place as a
Oui, j'ai
solo
l'habitude du clavier,
was
mais
pretty
je suis
amazing.
pas non plus un
Also,
tapeur
Agers
hyper
was
rapide.
there,
Je
somehow
connais des gens
able
qui
to
sont
get
beaucoup plus
another
rapides que moi
elimination
au niveau
after
du tapage du
elimination as
clavier.
a solo.
Mais
These
normalement, ouais,
teams
j'ai
are
l'habitude.
in the top of the competition, the 50 best teams in the world, because regardless of going down a player, they are still able to make these insane clutch plays.
Okay. You got me hyped, Kelly, because now we got to ask the
Game
question,
9.
what do these standings
Oh, ça passe tellement vite.
look like? Let's take a look together. Let's
Oh,
take
oh,
a look
oh.
here at the
Ah oui, mais
very
on a
top
vu le
of the leaderboard.
classement.
We're just going to throw some names around here. Clicks and Veno overtake
Ouais, mais Clix et Veno,
Peterbot
waouh.
and Pollo in this game. Now remember, last game, it was Peterbot Pollo show. Now we flip-flop, but it's only a
Clix
6-1
Veno,
lead,
c'est
but
une
look
dinguerie.
right behind them, Bryce and Bulls, because of that victory.
À tout moment, ils vont chercher la première win FNCS de
Listen,
Clix.
I'm not gonna lie, like obviously it's
Oh
not,
là là
it's
là.
not
Non,
awesome
ce
to
serait
have
une
this sort of,
dinguerie.
like, on your tail right
La,
when you're in the
la
lead, like
première
Clix
win
and Veno
FNCS
right
de
now,
Clix.
and Peterbot Pollo right there. It's kind of like
Je
this,
lui
like,
souhaite, hein.
two-team race. And I feel
Faut
like
pas
they'd be
un
like,
pichon à
alright,
Peterbot,
they'd be
là.
confident that each team
Faut pas
would be
un
like,
pichon
yeah,
sur
no, we
lui.
got this. Then when a third team kind of enters the
Ah non.
conversation, that's when I feel like
Clix
I would be a little
mérite,
bit
il
nervous,
mérite la
'cause
première
now
place.
there's even more of a chance that one of these other two teams kind of take the lead from you.
Genre, c'est une dinguerie, frère.
Veno and Clicks showcasing that it's not just the Veno show. No, Clicks here with 3 eliminations.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, able to get another one as well. And I really appreciate the fact that they didn't go for height here. They didn't have the mats. Instead,
Par
they
contre, là,
stuck
s'ils
to
avaient
low
des
and
matériaux,
mid-ground,
là,
and
ils auraient
that's where they're
tellement
able to
été
thrive.
bien. Là, il avait plus de matériaux, il avait 1 HP, là, il pouvait pas survivre, là.
This is just
Ouais.
game 8. We still have 4 more games to go. They have to stay locked in. But
Peterbot
man,
aussi, il a lâché un
at the
petit solo
top
clutch.
against Peterbot and Pollo going back and forth. In this game, Peterbot is
Genre,
left
j'ai
as a
l'impression
solo
que
because Pollo
Peterbot,
goes down. And we
en
saw
fait,
the same
lui,
thing
ce qui
from
lui
Clicks
fait
last game, right? We're just
bien se repérer et tout,
swapping hands on these
c'est
points right now.
comment ça s'appelle
It's
encore?
so close here at the top.
La visualisation des
Crazy here,
bruitages.
I was like, oh, I saw Pollo
Voilà,
go
c'est
down.
ça.
I believe it was to actually
La
pull
visualisation
him
des
in. I was
bruitages.
like,
En fait,
yeah,
il se
I mean,
repère par
I
rapport à
definitely
ça
saw
et il arrive à
Peterbot
se
solo,
faire
so can't believe
en
Peterbot
fonction
only
de
got 20
la
places as a
visualisation
solo, like, we're
et
used
du
to,
son
like, what, like, top
en
5
lui-même.
album for that. But,
Il arrive à bien se
I mean,
repérer par rapport à ça
early
et se prête
elimination
au bon
right there
endroit au bon
onto
moment.
Pollo was gonna put them in a rough spot in that game right there, but still 4 left to do
Après,
it.
je sais
Interesting
pas.
to see them kind of
Mais je
go
me
down
dis
to
vraiment,
and get
si
separated like that.
cheatait
They
vraiment,
had that figured out.
Fortnite aurait remarqué ça.
The fact that
C'est pas
Peterbot was
possible
put
qu'il y ait
into
autant de
such a
suspicions
rough
sur lui.
position. He was literally
Même
stacked in a
l'Event
box between
2K,
3
genre le
separate
gars là
teams,
qui
and
caste.
somehow was
Genre,
still able to grab an
il caste, mais il
elimination,
caste
get some
généralement
good
les
materials from the
FNCS EU.
refresh, and hold
Ce
out
mec-là,
for
il a
as
regardé un
long
clip
as
de
he
Peterbot,
did.
il
I
était
don't
choqué.
care what people
Le
say
gars était
about
choqué,
him. He is
littéralement.
one
Même
of
les
the
casteurs
best
sont
players
choqués.
in the world,
Donc,
regardless of the position
à
that
tout
he is
moment, il
put
faut une
into.
vérification sur le PC de Peterbot. Mais genre, s'ils le font et qu'ils ne trouvent rien, c'est juste vraiment que le gars est trop fort. Par contre, ça, c'était une dinguerie. Par contre, ça, c'était une vraie dinguerie. Là, la balle est à travers. Fortnite. Fortnite, la balle, il l'a mis à travers. Réglez vos bugs. Bah, c'est... Mais je me dis vraiment, les casteurs là, ils voient ça. Ils ont même pas le droit de dire, hein. Ils ont même pas le droit de dire qu'il y a eu un bug. Là, ils sont obligés de faire comme s'il n'y avait pas de bug. Mais c'est fou quand
And I
même.
might be mistaken here, but didn't Victor V fizz crash pad and eliminate
Allez,
someone
la
in the
game
air,
9,
or am I
dans 20
mistaken?
secondes. Alors, on est impatient là.
Competitor, Victor V, the young blood,
Ah, si j'avais la
joined
possibilité
by
de
the
faire
veteran
un
of
sondage,
Vapor. This is
j'aurais fait
not
un
a
sondage
duo that I
pour demander qui aurait
expected
win
to
cette prochaine
be
game
on
là.
the level that they
Dommage.
are this
Mais je
weekend.
peux pas faire de sondage.
I know, and just before we go, I wanted to just tip the hat there to Baka, a solo clutch. We saw a
Allez.
replay of him flying through the air, landing in a box, and 1v2ing a duo. I mean, guys, everyone here is clawing, fighting for one of
Allez,
these top 10
chef.
spots going to the global championships. With that being said, we have to jump back into the action. Game number 9.
Montre-nous les full
Ready
piece,
to
les
find
full
your seats on the
box,
bus.
les
Let's go.
dingueries là. On veut les dingueries.
Thank you guys so much. And yeah, just about anything is possible right now, Monster. But respect to Baka as well.
Arrêtez le
because even
speech.
when he was surrounded by Clicks and Venom,
Montre-nous
he
la
still
game, là.
waited for that perfect moment to attack, just staying as hidden as possible inside of the cone. And he's not the only one. All of these players trying to secure placement right now.
Yeah, that was just excellent work from Baka, really showing us what he is capable
On va
of
regarder côté
by
Clix. Ouais, il est
himself,
dans le
right? And
bus.
you don't really see players play that smart, that
Normalement, ils vont
strategic,
pas tarder
and
à
the amount
montrer.
of recycled crash pads that he pulled through really showed us that he was absolutely determined to make some big placement points count in
Et
that
tu parles
round in
trop là,
specific.
chef.
So, with that being said,
Voilà.
I mean, we are halfway through day number 2
Tu
right now.
parles
We're jumping
trop.
into this next game here.
Montre-nous la game là.
Game number 9 is on the line.
Ah, sur le truc commun.
currently.
Ah, je sais pas. J'ai jamais essayé. Justement. J'ai jamais essayé de faire de sondage sur le truc commun. Mais pas grave, pas grave. Ah, juste continuer à regarder.
Yeah,
Oh, Zedlin qui a
100%,
changé
right? They have
de
been popping in,
spawn.
they're winning fights, they're earning placement points.
Ça change de
also,
spawn littéralement.
So is Paper, so is Epic Whale, so
Oh.
is Muzz, right? There are
Sprite
other
qui
duos
tombe.
that are really showing
Day,
out today.
Day le laser.
Teams that had life yesterday
Ah, dommage,
are
côté Day
having
ça
just as
tombe.
much life today when it matters
Ok.
even more, given the
Par
fact
contre, ils
that
sont
there is
très
a
low.
point
Hein. Ils
multiplier.
sont très
So
low. Attention à
it just
l'autre
doesn't
team
get
qui
any
est
better
au bout
for any
de la
teams
ville.
other than
À tout
playing
moment, ça
great
backstab
today.
parce
That's
qu'ils
literally
savent
all
très
that
bien
matters.
qu'ils sont low. Hein.
This is a triple contested drop. Obviously, you can see Antonio
No,
and
this
Thielen
is-
win their
Pour l'instant,
race.
ils ont l'air de ne
Yeah,
pas
and then
vouloir
you have
trop
Evan and Pump just
agresser.
kind of lurking there, still trying to figure
Ah,
out,
ici
like,
le
how to get their
contest,
footing
ça donne
back
quoi?
on track.
Ah, ils préfèrent ne
It's
pas se
more so,
contest.
Antonio and Zealand, they
Hier,
go
c'était du full 50-50
cross-country.
par
They
ici.
dropped
Là, ils
opposite end
préfèrent
of the map,
se mettre un peu plus
typically
loin.
landing over towards Mount Olympus and kind of contesting the likes
Oh,
of like Vert
ça
and
craque.
Riley, for example, but instead
Chef, la
that
connexion.
surprise con
Merci beaucoup.
against Day and Sprite, it just completely deleting them before they have a chance to respond. And
Oh non,
fortunately,
Veno. Non.
Veno and
Non,
Clix,
Veno.
though,
Non,
Evan
non,
Flappy.
non, non, non. Pas comme ça, pas comme ça, pas comme ça. Clix, s'il te plaît. S'il te plaît, Clix.
And having successfully knocked Veno, that's going to put Clix into a very precarious position here. MDF is fully
Non,
aware
il a pas
of the
touché.
fact
Took the body
Non, il a rien
of this. They're
touché.
trying to
they're
put
going
him
to
in a
camp the
position-
card.
Et il l'emmène
Yeah,
loin,
they're
le
trying to put him in a
bâtard.
position that's gonna make
Ils
it
l'ont
much
emmené
harder
loin.
to camp the card.
Il faut camper la
Threw
carte.
him off the ledge
Oh,
there,
les
just
bâtards.
making it that much more difficult.
Ils vont camper la carte
Wow.
du gars. Mais ils vont pas
This
camper la
is-
carte?
I'm a little bit speechless.
Oui, ils vont la
here, just
camper. Voilà,
one
c'était
thing
sûr.
that
Mais
was
c'était
definitely
sûr. Oh,
on
les
everybody's
bâtards.
minds last night after the course of day one that these had concluded.
Après, tout est permis, hein.
Are Clix and Veno gonna
Ils ont le
wind
droit,
up
hein.
having to deal with the potential, you know, team
Mais ah
contesting
ouais.
them, possibly even two triple con at their drop. And Evan and Flappy, one of those
Ah, vraiment
duos
dommage,
where,
hein.
you know, they kind of just decided to extend the option. They've been landing a little bit more split kind of towards that coastal columns area, which is slightly further northwest from where Clix and Veno
Côté
like to go.
rugby,
But
ça regarde son
Veno
pote.
and Clix, if there's one thing that they can take away from this
Nice.
lobby, it's that they might have to play a little bit more hip to hip. And again, I think a lot of teams, when you have to deal with that kind of surprise
Replay.
con situation,
Comment il est mort, rugby.
it can be really
Ah ouais, il a
frustrating.
littéralement rentré dans la box en fait. Et mais il a failli 1v2, hein.
What are the options at this point? Do you truly risk it all?
Ah, il a
and go
1v2
for a team that's
littéralement en
going
fait.
to sit on a card, right? While intentionally
Oh,
positioning
ok.
the card too in somewhat of an advantageous position for themselves, or do you just play this out? Do you just take this
Canada.
as a sign to just say, you know what, I'm not,
Ouais, ils sont
I'm not
chill.
gonna risk it. I'm just gonna play it as a solo. I'll do my best and just move on. Well, we'll just have to see how
Oh, j'ai vraiment
this
envie de
game
voir
in
comment
particular
Clix se
plays out.
débrouille
I
là.
mean, we saw
What?
Baka was capable of, but that's a performance I
Fortnite?
feel like,
Vous avez
you
eu
know,
un
that
bug.
comes once in a blue moon,
Il a fait comme
right?
s'il n'y avait pas eu de
Baka
bug.
being able to do what
Il a
he
fait
did
comme
to
s'il n'y
keep
avait
his
pas eu de
team
bug.
up inside the top 10 right now was
C'est quoi ça,
nothing short
Fortnite?
of
C'est quoi ce
phenomenal.
bug?
And that is hard for any team to replicate.
C'est
let
pas
alone starting
professionnel
off
ça.
this early, right?
Oh.
Given that there isn't any surge developed, no foundation.
Bolts. Toujours
Yeah,
la
I
même
mean, it is
strat.
exclusively
Ça passe.
an uphill battle currently for Clix, and I would say if the top
On a
three
vu qu'ils
weren't
aiment beaucoup,
currently
hein.
so
Ils aiment
close
beaucoup faire
together
ce genre de
with their
construction.
points,
pour pouvoir prendre la storm un peu plus facilement. Ça
Ça
leur permet d'avoir de meilleurs angles de visu sur absolument toute la map. Clix qui raise Veno. Nice. Comment il a réussi à prendre la carte? What? Il a réussi à prendre la carte, hein.
Granted, they're still going to have some struggles to overcome because this has put a real damper as far as their search
Tant mieux pour lui
strategy
en fait.
is
Tant mieux.
considered, as well as the fact that forecast tower,
Parce que
I mean,
ouais.
that basically goes out the window at this point. I don't think that they're going to be able to actually try and make a play for forecast this game, but at the same time,
Alex qui se prend
everything should
full
be
balle.
just prioritized on getting some surge early.
Seems like that was a very interesting turn of events, by the way. You saw that the duo in the
Nice, on voit
distance
qu'il
was a
pour son
completely
pote.
different
Ah, c'est
player,
Mero en
right?
plus en
That kind of
face.
took that surge mountain,
Bah
how it
ouais.
affected how other players were deciding to kind of stick around there. But meanwhile,
Baka il est solo?
man, every time we jump in with Pars and
Ou son pote
Baka,
est
it
juste...
just seems like
Ah bah oui, il est solo. Aïe
you
aïe
know,
aïe.
everything's going wrong. What is happening right now?
Et personne va
Is
le
it
suivre,
just
ça va.
Baka being you know, sorry, Pars having a bit of an off day and you know, Baka really forced to dig deep here and climb the
Baka
his way
va
out the
essayer
trenches,
de
right?
le
'Cause it
raise en
just
quelque part là. Je sais pas où est-ce qu'il va essayer de le raise
continuously
parce
seems like
que
that's the way the story's playing out
s'il
here.
essaye devant là, ça va être compliqué. Il va falloir qu'il passe l'autre
Well,
team.
he did it in the last game as a solo situation, but this is not
Ooh.
a circumstance that you want to try and have to repeat off in the distance too.
Attention, et Jay va le push. Et Jay va le push. En plus, il y a... Oh là là, oh là là, il est dans la merde. Oh, il est dans la merde. Good luck, Baka. Good luck. Il est vraiment dans la merde. Oh, le pauvre. Ils veulent pas le lâcher. Baka essaye de se défendre quand même. Ça va. Ok, pour l'instant, il arrive à survivre. Hein. Il survit. Il prend une pression, mais ça va. Par contre, il y a une autre team qui guette. Attention. Hein. Attention au backstab encore. Hein. Ça risque de backstab encore une fois. Canada et Cooper essaie de prendre un tic. Ça passera pas. Nice. Baka caché dans un cône. Obligatoire, hein. Il peut pas faire autrement là, parce que là, s'il sort là, il se fait... Ah non. Ah, quoi que. Là, il peut partir par ici, hein. Et les autres... Ouh, aïe aïe aïe, aïe aïe aïe. Ok, ils l'ont pas vu, ils l'ont pas vu. Cavale, Kenny, cavale, cavale. Cavale, cavale. Voilà. C'est même pas de matériaux, aïe aïe aïe. Ouais, il est vraiment mal là. Hein. Zenlink. 2v2 box fight. Contre Mero et Pink. On se met des bons dégâts des deux côtés. Ça se reshield. Ça prend des pics. Ça va essayer d'all-in côté Mero, j'ai l'impression. Côté Mero et Pink, ça va essayer d'all-in. En fait, ils veulent vraiment le... Ok. Ok, nice. La balle qui est partie. C'est eux qui l'ont, hein. C'est cette ligne qui l'a. Hein. Mais Mero et Pink le veulent. Ok. Mero dodge, j'ai l'impression. Ouais, Mero et Pink vont dodge. Parce qu'ils l'ont pas. Ouais, ils vont faire une route à dead side.
strategy. So Miro and Pink, they're actually going to opt
Au
to
niveau
force
strat,
that weapons bunker.
ah ouais.
They don't want to get
Peterbot et Poyo,
caught
ils
out
sont comme...
in a fight that's bound to be third partied.
Il faut le métal, il
Gotta
faut le
give
brick,
credit, you know,
il manque juste
you know,
du
the
bois.
points that some of these teams have earned
Il est
is
vraiment
not
tranquille.
always reflective of their skill. Even in that fight, once the nitro came out, I mean,
Attention, il y a
Sealing,
Duke
oh,
pas
we gotta
très
drop
loin.
this layer. We're not trying to get pushed into
Oh,
the box.
Veno et
It's
Clix qui
just
se font
the
fight.
little changes like that
Oh,
really
Clix qui est
let
très
Miro
low.
and Pink know probably
Ah mais là, cette game là, ils sont mal hein.
have a good time if we stick around here much longer. I'm happy we get this update right here though.
Par contre, s'ils réussissent à récupérer les deux kills là, ils se mettent bien.
What all was happening with Veno and Clix. You know, W Edgy, honestly, rotating to the mountain, Death and Edgy, probably were the reason that
Ils vont essayer de tag
opened up
Clix.
for Clix and Veno, but
Ouais, ils vont vraiment
Sandman
essayer.
and Hazard right now have
Et Clix ne se laisse pas
sights here.
toucher, ça va.
Definitely the healthier of the two duos. I
Et
can't
mais ils
imagine
ont
the
juste
Grande
récupéré la
line.
pause, ils veulent pas plus push que ça. Heureusement pour Clix et Veno parce que s'ils meurent maintenant, ça peut creuser l'écart.
Kicks in, so I don't know.
Peterbot peut creuser l'écart et c'est pas le moment de mourir pour eux là.
Ils
peuvent pas se permettre. En plus, Peterbot est pas très loin hein. Qui bolt. La
It
haute
could
tête.
just be aura at this point. When you really break it all down, MDF, I think that after watching Veno's performance throughout the course of yesterday, and that's not to take away from Clix by any means either. I think
Ça
Clix
fait
did
juste
a
une
great
rota all
supportive
zone.
measure,
Dead
and
side, il y a
he was
personne par
certainly
ici.
clutching up in his own regard throughout yesterday's lobbies, but Veno just looked like Veno on a Grande day. It's a
Les balles de
completely
pied, enfin des
separate
balles
tier
d'air.
of player to deal with.
C'est pas
and
mal.
so I can understand hesitation in that sense.
Très bonne strat.
Well, a lot happening here.
Côté Canada, ça essaie de
Standoffs
prendre la storm
occurring. Teams
aussi.
starting to get situated. The Nitrodrome, no different. As Kanata and Cooper play this split play style again, and you know Kanata and Cooper have been at
Ils sont en
somewhat of
zone en
a
plus.
standstill, right? Dead stuck in their tracks. They came into the tournament with about
Par contre,
the same
Mixon, ils
amount of
sont
points. I'm really
un peu mal
not even sure
placés.
if they've
Parce qu'ils
managed
sont
to
autour
earn
d'absolument
anything
tout le
of
monde, genre.
significance.
Ils sont entre
That
tout le
is
monde.
super uncharacteristic for someone like
S'ils veulent
Kanata.
rota à gauche, il y a Rise et
Given
son
that he's
duo.
always
S'ils
performed
veulent
well
rota à middle,
in a FNCS
il y a Canada Cooper.
finals
Et à
type
droite,
lobby,
ça va être très
set
compliqué pour
lobbies.
passer.
This is his setting, this is his
Parce que c'est l'endroit où c'est assez stack.
ballpark, if you will, but Agers and Rise have trended up the standings very steadily so far. Agers,
Ouais, c'est assez stack de
folks
l'autre
just
côté.
forget what he is capable of. Big highlights picked up for him.
Peterbot Poyo,
Previous game,
tranquille.
managing to clutch up for game number 8.
À côté de l'île. Oh,
Here we have it.
nice.
This is
La
really
strat
what I
pour
was
aller sur
waiting
l'île en
for. I was
premier.
actually
Ouh,
surprised
ça va
that the
all-in
last
tout ça.
lobby, didn't see Peter
Oh, ça va
Boy
all-in
Poyo
côté
on
Peterbot
top of
Poyo.
Rift Island. They're actually beat the punch by
Oh, les-
Julian
oh.
Reciprocal, I believe, and
Ils sont
now
très
Peter Boy
agressifs.
Poyo,
Hein.
Peter especially, he wants his
C'est à
big
eux,
gang
c'est à
and
eux. Faut pas prendre leur
back
truc, c'est
under
à
his
eux.
control. He's gonna do everything he can
Tu veux
to kind
contester
of
Peterbot,
force
tu vas
Zealand
crever,
off from the
frère.
centerpiece of this
Tu vas crever.
island
Tu
and
contestes pas
Poyo's
Peterbot. Faut pas contester
facing
Peterbot.
up,
Fais pas.
making sure that they have control of that
Oh.
capture point, but Antonio at the same time, a little bit more split from Z-Link than he'd probably like to be.
C'est pas toi qui
If
conteste
they're not
Peterbot, c'est
careful,
Peterbot
once
qui te
Peter Boy and
conteste.
Poyo confirm the capture point and
Ceux
get
qui ont
that
la
loot,
ref. Vous
they're
êtes
gonna
des
start
goûts, vraiment.
fanning out. They're gonna start looking for eliminations. They know that if they want
Oh.
to try and
Oh, la strat sur
maintain
Z-Link.
that first place position, they've got to start really
Ça va all-in?
separating themselves from that three-horse
Son
race
pote va
that's
essayer de le
currently
rejoindre,
taking
hein.
place.
I love how
Attention,
willing they
Peterbot,
are to
c'est
just
très risqué
fight
ce qu'il
for
fait là,
this
là.
capture point, fight for the checkpoint that they
Quel
came
est ce-
here
il-
for.
Oh,
The
la reprise de high.
objective drop, and they are just putting everything on the table.
Oh là là, mais la rapidité d'exécution. Ouh, par contre, la grosse balle de DMR. Oh, par contre, la rapidité d'exécution de ses actions, c'est bien vu. Est-ce qu'ils vont conserver leur pickaxe? Leur pickaxe FNC, c'est ce qu'ils vont les conserver.
He's just trying to make sure that nobody else can look to challenge. He's got the loot floored off essentially, so it won't drop to anyone else but him.
Et je vais encore vu Clix et Veno, est-ce qu'ils sont
Poyo,
toujours en vie?
Peterbot,
J'espère qu'ils sont
this
toujours
is
en vie.
where they can really start to take their time and really gauge which teams they want to try and continue challenging.
Oh,
if
côté
any at all.
Dolzer,
They
c'est
might just
toujours en
sort of
vie,
wait
j'ai
for
vu.
some of these other teams to begin rotating and then look to take shots
Victor
at them
V, ça
after the
rotate.
fact.
Oh, j'ai bien l'impression que ça
Before
va...
fully keying,
Ouais, ça va jouer très
it'll
aggro
really
là.
happen if they crack the shield,
Ah, j'ai
for
bien
example,
l'impression, ouais,
that'll
ouais.
be, you know, the
Ça va
sign that
aggro.
they can go ahead and get a little bit more proactive with things, but
Ça
Victor V and
replace.
Paper, they don't want to be a reactive
Le
team here
cherche,
by
hein.
any means. They're going to try to pressure Sphinx
Ah
and
là, ça va se
Dukes
battre à la mort là.
just a little bit.
Après, je pense qu'ils ont pas de storm, du coup ils sont obligés de se
There
fight.
are other teams local to the area right now, so they
Ils ont
do
pas trop le
have
choix
to
parce
be
que la
wary
storm
of the
fait
fact that there
très
is
très très mal.
strong
Surtout en grande
possibility
finale
of getting
FNCS.
that party
En
here.
grande finale FNCS, les storms, quand tu es en bas de la storm en fait, genre tu peux pas remonter, c'est mort. Genre si tu mets pas, si tu fais pas genre 2v2 box fight et que tu récupères pas les 2 kills le plus rapidement que possible, t'es dans la merde. Donc du coup ils sont obligés d'all-in là, avant que la storm apparaisse. En plus ils se fight alors que genre, ils sont tout près dans le classement, donc du coup ah ouais. Non, ça risque de causer un écart de fou furieux s'ils se fight. Ils ont l'air de vouloir dodge. Par contre ils vont peut-être, ouais, ils vont se retrouver dans la merde niveau storm. Oh, ça va être Mongal Savage. Ah, côté Mongal Savage c'est très mal malheureusement. Ça tombe encore côté Mongal Savage. Ah, les FNCS ne se passent pas comme prévu pour Mongal Savage. Hein. Malheureusement, ah ça se passe mal. Hein. Ah non. Ah je suis déçu pour eux quand même. Ils sont venus en NA en pensant que ouais ils allaient faire un bon truc et tout. Ils ont quand même réussi à arriver en finale, hein, mais en finale ouais ça va pas assez loin, dommage. Hein. Après, rien n'est terminé. Rien n'est terminé. Il reste encore 3 games après. Donc à tout moment, ils font un comeback encore. Mais il faut vraiment sortir des games masterclass. Hein. Si jamais il veut vraiment remonter dans le classement, c'est des games masterclass qu'il faut faire. Hamzo avec Tyson. Poyo Peterbot sous l'œil. Ah, ils sont au-dessous de la storm. Oh ben, j'ai rien dit. Ils sont au-dessus. Ils sont encore en dessous. Oh là là. Voilà, hein. Voilà le problème de la storm surge. Hein. Ah mais il a le médaillon, c'est vrai. Du coup il s'en fiche, il va pas mourir. Il va juste faire ça à l'infini et normalement il toque la storm. Oh la strat. Oh, nice, les dégâts sur Bouga. Aïe, 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 aïe. Il faut quand même pas mal de dégâts, hein, attention. Hein. Il essaye, hein. Essayer de survivre, mais... Nice. C'est tellement compliqué de prendre la storm. On regarde le nombre de dégâts qu'il a mis. Hein. Mais ils sont quand même en dessous. C'est bien compliqué. Ils vont sauter sur eux. Ils vont sauter sur eux. Il s'allait. Oh, chouai. A bloqué la patte sur le gars, par contre, il est lourd. Ils sont encore en dessous. Peterbot va mourir. Peterbot va mourir. Il meurt pas. Il meurt pas. Il meurt pas. Ah, ils veulent vraiment aggro. Ils sont 70 au-dessous encore. Waouh, non mais c'est chaud. Hein. Ok, 19. Ils sont obligés de se fight. Hein. Ils sont vraiment mal niveau storm. Oh, ça va all-in? All-in? Oh non, ça passe pas côté Peterbot. Poyo, oh non, il a pas de heal. Malheureusement, je crois que côté Peterbot Poyo, ça va tomber. Je veux pas porter l'œil à Poyo, hein, mais à tout moment, ça tombe. Hein. Ça va tomber. Oh, la storm a disparu.
He's only got that machinist medallion to depend on as far as his
La
shield
sauve a
situation
disparu.
is concerned. No white heals and Visuals and
Par contre, il
Braids
a
have
pas de,
continued
ouais, il a
to
pas de
hold
heal
the
blanc.
line
Il est
just
vraiment dans la merde.
underneath Pollo. They are boxed up. They are refusing to budge. And now, if they caught wind of Peterbot's name in that elimination feed, Visuals and Braids might know this is an isolated Pollo. This is a solo. We can take him out.
Definitely a potential there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Paper and Victor V fall to the hands of Japko and Quanti just a couple of moments ago. That's going to halt all their momentum, giving Quanti and Japko a big jump up. Still, though, they are below the surge here. No heals either. I mean, I dare say Pollo's in a better position than them. Just with the medallion to buy him some time, and Bolts gets cracked with a headshot from the legendary DMR there. And that damage is going to be felt, but there's just no follow-up. Look at the limited pressure here.
Bryce trying to get that revive though off onto Bolts, but he recognizes this is a lost effort. He's gonna abandon his duo and look to play this one out now as a solo. Quanti left in the exact same position here. Yapko not gonna be able to get that revive. So poor Quanti just stuck inside that low ground. And one more time, Pollo, just a waiting game. It's gonna be a lot of dropping and picking back up of this machinist medallion. It's bound to flag some other teams in the lobby though. When they see this medallion consistently being dropped and then picked back up, they've got to know that he is in some heavy pressure. Otherwise, why would he insist on getting that refresh of the 5-tictor shield?
Yeah, definitely. And also just, you know, letting the entire lobby know what's happening here. It doesn't really make much sense, regardless of how you want to cut it up. But a couple significant things have happened. Pollo earned himself placement points and that elimination, right? We talk about how every step towards the finish line counts and it helps go the distance here, and that's exactly what we're watching unfold. But look at this. Bryce is also a solo here, but a much different situation. He's got plenty of heals. He's got plenty of damage. But Pollo tries to wait this one out, tries to sit this one out, but the storm just doesn't allow him. He's the only player, what feels like the only player, but no, misses the most important tag right there, but still has a little bit of runway here. He's got to find that elimination, loses track, and he's scrambling here. He can hear the footsteps, but the zone is all that matters to get to it first. 5 seconds before things start to continue to pick up once again here. Meanwhile, on the other side, you still see Bryce on the move as well. All of that immediate competition, though, as Pollo falls here. Bryce is still in the game right now. 476. The standings are going to reflect some big changes here. Clix and Vino still alive down low. One of the few teams that are still putting in work.
Look at where Acorn and Cold are as well. Directly to their side. Veno and Clix, they've got to be really careful with how they actually choose to play. And it's not going to be the low ground. Instead, they're going to catapult straight towards front side of the next zone. Meanwhile, all the way up on height, Trashy and Threats have found themselves in a relatively strong position. They're trying to just throw tags into all these players that they see rotating. And they're going to come up behind Seek, but not going to be enough damage just yet to get the knock outright. Instead, Threats, one more time, just continuing to apply pressure from overhead. But he's got the right weapons to do it. Between that Thunderburst SMG and the Mythic Hand Cannon, it's going to be really difficult for these teams to actually try and challenge him on height. But Clix, Veno, they might take their shot at it.
And they're taking their shot straight at building a very, very strong lead right now. They're going to be the first team that crack this 500-point threshold here just through placement points alone, because they don't have any eliminations. They haven't earned any yet. But no pressure, no worries. Meanwhile, Tayson and Iamzo continue to put in work here. That's their 4th elimination now. 2 more zones on the move here. The NA FNCS Grand Finals is really starting to get interesting right now as Tayson and Iamzo continue to just work the mid-ground layers here. On the ultimate low, Clix and Vino still moving here, finally earning themselves Taco their first elim. Maybe they'll get their second here.
Mixon, though, just going to barely manage to layer switch and then save his life for a moment longer. Clips Miro on that next transition forward. Front side of zone, though, gonna be their demise. They get cut off by a team that's already boxed up in the mid-ground. Now coming up behind them, Cold, Acorn here. They're also gonna elevate just slightly, still playing from a relatively low ground position, and they've got tabs on some of the teams that are sort of surrounding them at this point. Finally, they move up to another mid-ground layer. They've caught Seek entirely, wall him off, don't allow him to continue trying to follow his teammate. Rapid's gonna be up next here, and Acorn and Cold have really seemed to have found their stride. 7 eliminations already for Cold, some massive elimination points on the day so far.
This right here is exactly what they needed as well to really start to change the momentum, to give them the chance to start climbing back up. But Threats, even as a solo right now with no material, is putting up a front of this high ground here, just trying to show everyone that, hey, you're not in control, someone else still is. Cannon's out here trying to see what he can make do with this. Yamzo playing a little cat and mouse right here. Shot comes through, and oh my gosh. Threads connects. He picks up the little bit of material that gets generated from the elimination here. This gives him some elevation. Yamzo's gonna fall there. And Threats is still on the move. Look at this weakened Noxie behind the wall. One tag, but no! He ends up falling there. Noxie falls too, and Acorn and Cold in the end will win that game. And the momentum for them has finally shifted. They caught wind in their sails, and they're off.
It just seems like the moment that Cold really starts to string together those series of eliminations, nothing can stop him. It's almost like every elim just charges him up even more so, and they were the only duo that was still left intact in those final moments. MDF, it was just all the solos surrounding them, so quick pickings that they took full advantage of.
Very impressive game. Very, very impressive game, because look, they absolutely needed these points. They came in that 100, point range. They were just struggling, right? And a monstrous win like this, these are the games that really propel you up towards the top, right? It's gonna jump them up probably well over 100 points. I mean, they hit that double-digit victory royale, one of which, honestly, we haven't even seen over the course of this week, and that's probably the biggest victory to be captured here on the grand final stage. So game 9, locked and loaded for Dignitas, Acorn, Man City's Cold, and that is gonna for sure propel them into this conversation. I'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, 11 eliminations on top of the 100 Victory Royale points. The leaderboards are starting to look crazy, but we'll get more insight as to that right after the short break.
I'm no HP. I'm going. Landing middle. I'm going
Great
up.
rotate. Great fucking rotate.
170. Go, slip me. Fizz us again, okay? Fizz us again. We're gonna nitro. Fizz. Land right. Let me go right. Oh shit, that might not be good. Yeah. Use our fizz, come. Jump over him. Landing us off this team. We're gonna smack them. Come. Move it. Go. I have no builds. Moving up. Drop down.
Oh my god, this is perfect. This is the best scenario they could have right now. Yep, that's why. He's gonna kill this guy.
I'm gonna fizz you, okay? I'm fizzing.
Come on.
Build wide fizz. I died behind us. I'm moved. Around. Come to.
Oh my.
Fizz me. I've one build. I can only hold one. We got 3 hits.
Ooh.
How many points was that? 55.
Well, let's not miss the game, yeah?
That next transition forward, front side of zone though, gonna be their demise. They get
Is Peterbot alive? I don't think Peterbot's alive. That's good for them. And I haven't even checked the leaderboard today.
Cold, Acorn here.
Hope I'm showing the right screen, right?
Slightly still playing from a relatively low ground position, and they've got tabs on some of the teams that are sort of surrounding them at this point. Finally, they move up to another mid-ground layer. They've caught Seek entirely, wall him off, don't allow him to continue trying to follow his teammate. Rapid's gonna be up next here, and Acorn and Cold have really seemed to have found their stride. 7 eliminations already for Cold, some massive elimination points on the day so far.
This right here is exactly what they needed as well to really start to change the momentum, to give them the chance to start climbing back up. But Threats, even as a solo right now with no material, is putting up a front of this high ground here, just trying to show everyone that, hey, you're not in control. Someone else still is. Hand cannon's out here trying to see what he can make.
What am I watching, bro?
Yamzo.
Beautiful pump off the Batman Boogo. Didn't get the fizz though. That fizz would be very great right now. You see the body in storm maybe.
The little bit of material that gets generated from the elimination here. This gives
Oh
us
my.
Yamzo's gonna fall there.
First, he's 1 HP. First,
Yamzo's gonna fall there.
first, he's 1 HP. First him. You don't know Willow. Oh my god.
One tag, but no. He ends up
Acorn and Cold winning. That's good for us, chat. If you want to keep the dream alive, bro, that's good for us. They're already qual globals, you know. That's gonna make the thing go down.
I'm sorry, did Acorn and Cole just have a 166-point game here at the halfway point of Grand Finals? What is going on? This tournament is alive. It's breathing. It is on fire. It is changing. Acorn and Cole, guys who already have spots in the Global Championships, guys who just came in and said, hey, I know we've been under the radar, Zeke. It's fine. You want some big
I'm not gonna lie, I should have saved the line when I mentioned after the first game of the day when Dukes and Sphinx won that. I was like, yeah, listen, here we go, NA fashion. We're gonna have an insane comeback from them. No, it's gonna happen in game number 9 by Acorn and Cold, continuing that conversation, putting themselves up surely towards the top of the leaderboard. Like, can't wait to see how that one actually comes out. But yeah, 11 eliminations by the duo, and this just looked so free-flowing, right? It looks like they're just running around, nobody's even looking at them, Kelly, and they're just finding all of the eliminations, so many refreshes.
I mean, Acorn and Cold, you know, this actually isn't the first time that they've done this. If you look at Major 2, they finished day 1 in 31st place. And then in day 2, finished off in 2nd, rounding out their top performance in 5th. So, Acorn and Cold, we talk about this a lot, right? Who are the day 2 teams? Who's going to be able to thrive? And this is Acorn and Cold. They are definitely a day 2 team if you look to the most recent Major, and they are pulling out all the stops now.
I just cannot believe that. Man, there's so much that kind of all happened in this last game. We just want to quickly run you by a couple things that happened, highlighting threats here. Back-to-back solo clutches from threats. I don't know how all of these players are just pulling out these unbelievable solo performance, man. I bet by the end of this season, the solo impact points are going to be crazy for everyone. But again, for Trashy rather, he's got to be feeling like, threats, you are the man.
Yeah, just another one of those games, right? High ground, whoever's kind of has it, they're just kind of rolling away with it right now. But I mean, Kelly, you've talked about that hand cannon multiple times in the hands of threats. I mean, he is talked about because of his aim. Clearly very dangerous in his hands as well.
Oh, speaking of dangerous, we are seeing Clix and Vino just take the tiniest bit of a lead over Peterbot and Pollo. But look how close the rest of the lobby is, Zeke.
That's the problem, Kelly, right? The moment that any of these teams in the top 7 go down, it's a free-for-all once again. A couple things to point out. So 7th place, Acorn and Cold, right? With that victory out, they jump up here. But look at this point disparity. Less than 100 points from first all the way down to 7th. Vivid, the Victory Royale by itself is 100 points. This is still anyone's game.
This is so insane right now. Like, this FNCS is far from over. And I was calling it coming into this week, and I was like, listen, I think we're gonna have a race all the way down to game 12. It's gonna be between 2 teams. Right now, we've got like 7, 8 teams keeping themselves in the conversation. And Veno and Flix, listen,
I did not like how this game was going at all. I don't think any Clicks fans, any Veno fans were liking how this one was going, right? They had to get a reboot. Veno got called off, and I was like, wow, like this is not good for them in terms of being on the leaderboard, right? They're getting a reboot off. No way they do well this game. And then they pull out an 11? Like how was that even possible?
To be able to turn around getting rebooted and then somehow not struggling with Storm Surge just proves how well-rounded Veno and Clicks are. Sticking to the low ground, sticking to the front of zone, and yes, they did go down in 11th, but clearly that is not an issue, saying that they are still in first place with the most amount of eliminations out of anyone in the top 10 right here. But man, just look at the names that we have here. Batman, Booga, and Rapid being in 5th place, down a game from yesterday.
Dude, I don't even know. NA has brought the heat today. We wanted to take a look and break down damage dealt in these games, right? Let's take a look at this graphic together. So I'm just gonna let the numbers speak for themselves, but just look at the damage dealt by players individually. I mean, what is going on?
I mean, this is the numbers for the 3 games that we've seen today, right? So Cold, obviously after that incredible performance right now, averaging more than 1,000 damage per game. Almost all of these players up here in the top 5 for damage dealt individually are averaging almost 1,000. No surprise there to see threats, right? We've seen a couple of solo clutches. Bryson Bolt's obviously having a great day too. No surprise to see him out there. But Rise, let's keep our eyes on Rise, right? I know Jason, or not Rise, Rise and Agers are kind of keeping themselves in the conversation of qualifying for globals right now, and that damage is definitely helping.
This is just... Oh, sorry.
Really quickly, Kelly, I want to jump in here because I just found out that Peterbot and Poyo, this is the first time they've ever gone down or actually been zapped by Storm Surge. Yep. What is going on in these games? The first time that we've watched Peterbot fall to Surge? Like, what?
Yeah, I'm happy that you kind of bring that up, right? This is the first time throughout this grand final they took any damage from Storm Surge, like you mentioned, going down to it ultimately as well. And then, Kanada's hitting the socials right now. Like, he's talking about how much Storm Surge damage he feel like he has, but it's still not enough. Like, is Surge getting harder progressively as these grand finals go on? Usually, Kelly, we see a trend of the games be a little bit less stacked, but right now, everybody's kind of reflecting that that's not the case.
I mean, you have to think about it. What is going through these players' minds right now? They only have 3 more games to go before it's all over. This isn't just the last chance for them to get into global championships. This might be the last time that these players play in a level of the FNCS until next year if they don't make it into the global championships. This is it. It's do or die. All of these players are pulling out all the stops. This is exactly what we asked for, and I can't believe we're getting it. Zeke, great job on the script, man.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time writing the script. Only 3 games left to go here. The halfway point begins right now. Taco, MDF, over to you.
Thank you, Zeke. And yeah, I want to reiterate the fact that less than a victory royale separates 7th to 1st place. You cannot afford to fall early. If any of the teams that are on your heels take a dub, they will be rocketing right past you. And Taco, this is going to make for an exciting next 3 games. So let's jump on that battle bus one more time. Game 10 is here. We are now starting to see what could be the breakaway competitors, but do not count out your veterans. Cold and Acorn have officially shown us after last game's performance that you can earn over 150 points and literally double your position in this tournament at any given time. And that alone, that prospect alone, is just crazy, but it's only possible, Taco, right? Because of the way that the format is structured.
And look, normally it'd be very easy to say, yeah, a 166-point game. Clearly, every single one of the stars aligned. But the problem is that Acorn and Cold, it's not their first time doing something of this caliber in a finals lobby. They are 10,000% a duo that can repeat that type of performance on the fly. So if our competitors weren't already paranoid, to an extent, it has to be setting in here. And that's where I think the conversation for me right now, MDF, is who can maintain their cool, because it becomes very easy to let those, you know, lobby moments kind of turn into these late game jitters, but the experience, I think, is really going to showcase itself here for a lot of our competitors.
And you make a great point. Like, if that was the case, if that was true for someone like Clix and Vino, I mean, last game, it would have been over the moment Vino was taken out, right? In the opening exchanges. So I think you're absolutely right that, you know, mentality is super important, but again, being able to keep your cool, right? Bounce back, reset, stay focused and locked in is what matters. This is a rematch right here between Evan Flappy, Vino and Clix from the last game. Last game, Vino was obviously caught off guard at the mountaintop to the north. Now they are very much aware that they have competitors nearby. Look at how much differently they're positioned and early shielded up. Vino, so far, loadout-wise, is telling us that he is for sure ready for anything. I like that they're going to start distancing themselves, though, and not look to stay here for too long, right? You don't want to lose all of your timing here.
Well, that, and I think Venom also just kind of trusts Clix to hold his own from this position, because Clix is going to be able to kind of keep eyes on what Evan and Flappy are actually scheming here at this point. I mean, the fact that they're even contesting them at all is rather surprising, but Veno, he wants this box fight. He wants these 12 elimination points, essentially, if they're able to confirm both of the elims. And not only that, but they'd completely clear out their drop spot here at Sandy Steps, which would it kind of get that monkey off their back, you know? They've got to deal with the pressures of having another duo just consistently surprise, challenge them, but early points, early surge, that can go a long way for Clix and Veno.
I like how they didn't just sit around and wait for them to actually make a move or allow them to get too much material. Instead, they're taking that advantage right away through pure offense here. And this is how you really make a statement, if you will. Vino's got to be careful, though. He's going to expose himself here. Does get tagged on the move in, but still, it's just a matter of time. There's a great tag right there as well, and you can see that this feels almost personal at this point to finish this fight, but as they continue to invest here, other teams are slowly creeping in on the outside, hearing what's happening, seeing what's going on. That's we've seen Clix nearly bots right there, so he's got to lock in. And it's Edgy and Death who's making their same rotate right back to that mountain, so you can see that almost behavior kicking in, right, from some of those other teams there.
This is a little bit surprising, though. Mongrel and Mr. Savage, for a moment there, it looked like they're going to intervene with Victor V and Papers' 10th game lobby plans, but instead, it seems like it was a little bit more of a front. They just wanted to force Victor V and Paper away from their position, back over the Pantheon path, and look who's creeping up on them. Vert and Kylie. The crouch approach to not reveal their position. And I think, I'm almost certain Vert and Kylie know that Victor V and Paper, sure enough, they've caught wind of them now at the Flame Boost Hoop. Victor V, at least for right now, out in the open, doesn't realize just how exposed he is from behind, but Kylie and Vert, they are being so patient with that approach.
Here's a couple of the teams that I've been calling some of the disruptors in this lobby. Nerface and Sid are one of two duos, I would say, because the other is Seek and Dash. They have taken out some big names. You just can't ever count them out of the conversation. This time around, Nerface and Sid are going to give Boya and Peterbot a fight worth disengaging from. And that's not the first time we've actually seen that happen. For one reason or another, they play very well against Boya and Peterbot. It's almost as if they just read them very well. You know, sometimes you meet your match. Vino and Clix, though, they'll fight once again against Flappy and crew. Vino makes a mistake there and almost literally pays for it with his life, but manages to kind of regain his footing there, slip out of the box. I'm not sure if he wasn't even loaded there, potentially his shotgun wasn't ready. They should win this.
I'd be very surprised if they lost it at this point, MDF, that's for sure. Flappy already having been knocked. That's going to be a little bit of siphon material. Now it's just up to Clicks. See if you can get the rest of those shots landed with that Thunderburst. Unfortunately, Evan going to be able to hide for just a couple seconds longer, but the moment that Clicks and Veno crash pad towards him, he's just toast. So Clicks, Veno, slight delay to their forecast tower strategy, but at the same time, they've now got 12 elimination points in hand. They're gonna have to refarm some material because obviously Evan and Flappy were able to definitely disrupt them in that regard, but being able to confirm the forecast tower, that alone is the ultimate victory card there for Clicks and Veno, because I'm really interested to see what they do with that future forecast knowledge.
I think they also just got a lot of damage. That
Yes.
team was able to kind of heal up, right? Come back again. They got the down body, finished the down before going for the, teammate Evan in that circumstance. So those little exchanges, those turn of events there, right? Those key moments definitely add to the damage. But overall, the game rages on here. We're still very much in the early game here of game number 10. After this round, there will just be 2 more opportunities to solidify your place in a podium finish here for the grand finals, and of course your spot to the globals. Let's see, Bryson Bolt's here. One of the most surprising performances of Bryson Bolt's career has come this weekend with multiple victory royales across the span of these 2 days, most notably picking up that game 9 victory. Or sorry, game 8 really was the second game here today. But look at this, Yamzo and Tayson taking a storm fight.
And not with just anybody, it's Pollo and Peterbot. And we've seen this a couple of times in past lobbies as well, but Pollo and Peterbot have tended to get the better end of Tayson and Yamzo. Keep in mind, though, the levers that they have over so many other teams is that Machinist Medallion. It is much easier to kind of stretch out or force out other teams' resources. That could be a big part of the reason why Yamzo and Tayson, they got a couple of shots worked in there, so they'd rather take their odds elsewhere. They want to make sure they're able to rotate sufficiently into this next zone. As things continue to pool, a little bit more action going to start to build near Brawler's Battleground, and Tayson and Yamzo, they're just trying to keep a low profile for the time being, but I'm not even sure they recognize the fact that they're getting soft trailed right now.
You have to stay on high alert here. Agers and Rise got their mark set on Cooper and Kanata. It seems like Kanata was caught obviously outside. Unexpectedly there, loses a lot of health, but not enough for Agers and Rise to overcommit to the battle. They're just content with the little bit of damage that they managed to pick up there, and now they want to distance themselves away here. I like how they're playing also cautiously too, not rotating too freely there.
Looked like Kanata and Cooper were just about to encounter Bryce and Bolts, though. Might have to revisit that one shortly. As Cold and Acorn looking to exchange shots. They're a little bit sandwiched right now, though. And with 2 teams kind of surrounding them here at Redline Rig, I know Acorn and Cold, last thing they want is to be caught in the middle of everything. They might just crash pad out of here, sure enough. They're not going to wait, stick around and find out what could happen next. They want to make sure that they get themselves into a slightly more favorable position. One shot going to be applied to them inside of this bush they're currently hidden inside of. But Cold still doing his best to remain as aware as possible. Keep looking for surge tag damage wherever possible.
It's a nice little look at what Mongrel, Mr. Savage strategy in the early game has been. This time they switch it up from big surge base down to camping around one of these flaming hoops here. Of course, a point of interest for rotating teams, but we talked about the problem being the lack of players in the southern areas. It almost feels like it makes more sense that you get overactive, right, and kind of give up these hoops and you kind of get into some northern POIs, that seems to be where all the fights are taking place. Speaking of which, you have Tayson and Yamzo swinging through Mount Olympus. Couple teams already moving out of here, heading further northwest. They don't see anyone just yet.
But they're still hunting. That's the main pickup here right now for Tayson and Yamzo, even though they're in a currently separate spot right there at Mount Olympus. If they want to try and defend that position, they're going to need to try and control the flow of some of those later rotators. Baka and Pars, though, this is a very welcome sight. We've actually got one with the other this time. Last two lobbies, we saw only Baka. And last lobby specifically, Baka didn't really get to actually utilize having confirmed that forecast tower. So this time around, not sure if they were able to get the forecast tower. Don't believe it's currently in their possession. Didn't see that Purple Hunter's DMR on Baka, at least. Maybe Pars is the one currently holding it, but being a duo is always going to be a better position than the solo circumstances that we've seen Baka have to work with.
Yeah, Baka has, held up his end of the relationship, if you will. Really pulling in work, pulling weight here. Meanwhile, Acorn and Cold have bounced their way right back into this tournament. And it was crazy because if we think about how this all started, I mean, I wouldn't have thought for them to be in top 10 already, right after just 3 performances. But here they are. Only team on the Rift Island right now. And I think that's the first one we've actually seen spawn down here. Most of these other zones have been relatively similar, so we've seen them kind of fall into the hands of Peterbot and Boya being the first to take claim.
Ooh, this is rough right now for Rise. 2 separate duos directly east and west of him, not to mention the teams that are currently fixated on top of Rift Island. And he's below the surge threshold, so it's essentially a pick your poison situation. Who do you think you can take out first? Or at least maybe he can hope to try and apply some side shots into teams. Maybe if they get a little bit too antsy with each other on the Rift Island, but that downward position, it's going to be tough for him to get any sort of line of sight. He's in for a pretty difficult matchup here as Bryce and Bolt. Bryce, we see him dropping, just trying to escape. Bolt still playing it out from Rift Island, but he's going to take the Ascender back down. Doesn't want to risk it. They'll take a moment to pause here. Try and regenerate their shield and white heals. Plenty of floppers to go around, though, for Bolt at least. So I don't think Bryce is in all that dangerous of a position any longer. Fact of the matter still remains, though. They've now fallen underneath that damage threshold, but jumped right back up to the top of it. With some other player eliminations taking place in the lobby.
A little bit of pressure coming into Rise as he's trying to also fish for information here around him. He's not even close to being safe. Even more teams past him. That sniper glint being picked up right there. Great double tag right there. It's going to give him a huge 120 damage swing. That update right there showing us exactly where they stand in 8th coming into this game. Rise with no agers. We haven't really seen that happen, so this is a first for the duo. Not too far off Peterbot and Polio right now. Trying to piece together the little bit of mistakes, if you will, the holes in their game plan that really started to poke through just last round, where they took storm surge damage for the first time in this tournament, which is, incredible in its own to think that they've been able to stay that consistent. But look at this. Peterbot forces the edit out of Bolts there. Doesn't quite catch him with the open edit. Backs off. Just showing them, we're here.
Party means for Price and Bolts at least. The way that Poyo and Peterbot are kind of eyeing up the horizon, you could tell that they definitely want to look for a fight. Not really accustomed to just sitting barely above that surge threshold, and Rise one more time finds himself below it as well, despite us having watched him just secure a little bit more than 120 damage. It's still not enough. So many players taking the socials, even kind of lamenting the fact that I feel like I'm doing so much and yet it's still coming up so little in the grand scheme of things. And I think even when we were looking at the player damage numbers in between lobbies here, MDF, we saw just the absurdity behind the amount of damage that players have been putting up individually. And that's kind of the level that everyone has to be if they want to remain healthy above that surge damage threshold.
I really do appreciate how Rise has had a game plan this entire time, right? Waiting for the rifts to come out, trying to capitalize there. But look, he's poked the bear a little too much up against Bolts and company, but Bolts and them need the damage as well, so they push in. But Bryce is unfortunately going to fall to the hands of Rise. So a big pump shot followed by what was either a surge tag or a combination of both alongside the storm is going to take him right out. And Rise is still standing. So the real question is, was it worth it? Seems like the answer is going to be no here, as more teams are now looking in at them as well. So they both have a problem here.
But Rise, looks like Bolt's found somewhat of a solution. He's still sitting just below that damage threshold. That pump shot, though, to secure the elimination onto Rise is at least going to be some good points to add to the count, but he needs more than that on his tab right now. Bolts has ample amount of material. He's kind of just hoping that a stray team or something can get caught out on a crash pad rotate. He's gonna have to take matters into his own hands. Just firing some shots towards Clix and Veno's direction, but is immediately spotted out by teams the opposite way. And the fact that he's moving as a solo is bound to be a huge red flag. All these other teams in the lobby bound to be looking towards his metal box.
Take a look at these elims right here. Peterbot and Boyo jumping up to this Rift Island. They just keep fighting for this Rift Island. If you've noticed, their strategy has almost revolved around get up here, take any fight, because it seems like this is probably the safest way to do it, given the extra elevation that the Rift Island gives you. And that's a perfect set of two right there. So more points for them. And talk about just being extremely resilient. Bolt is still in this game from low ground to now elevating himself, but the zone has already moved. And I was gonna ask the question, why is Vino so far from Clix? But it was just making sense. They have the information of the next zone. Of course, he's gonna be edging his way towards positioning himself for the next big swing there. And this is what's given them the advantage of the early pull here.
Did see Baka and Pars, though, potentially cutting off Clix and Veno, and that's where Bolts is going to find himself crash padding towards as well. Threats and Trashy could be joining the fray here, and Bolts, he's going to land right on top of the boxes that Clix and Veno have already established, and he immediately draws the attention from the rest of the lobby. Almost surprised that Clix and Veno haven't opted to just look back, but they might not recognize the fact that Bolts is a solo just yet. Bolts still doing what he can, though, but he is in a dire situation right now, MDF. Over 259 damage below threshold. Veno gonna poke his head up. He's finally figured out where some of these shots are coming from, and he sees that it's a solo. He knows he can close this one out in rapid time, and this could be an easy 6 points for Veno and Clix to add to their tab, but Veno, Clix still very much being cautious with their approach. They don't want to find themselves getting flanked.
I'm also thinking they might be second guessing themselves, given all that metal there. Vino kind of waits for a moment, hesitates on finishing the fight, but now comes through. Here's the single steps above him and knows, okay, this is definitely a solo here. So there goes a pickup. More material for him, more ammunition, everything that you can ask for here to be set up. First solo, Bolts had a lot going for him. Minus damage, really, is what it came down to. But look at this. You have Cold and Acorn also getting active while we were following along what's happening there. On the other side of the zone here, they find Phenom and Ziggy there with a quick finish as well. Doesn't even cost them anything other than a little bit of time to pop in there. And I'm seeing Muzz and Epic Whale ever so lurking. We haven't really followed their early and mid games, right? We just see them pop up in endgame over and over. And look at them making it past the mid game as well.
Kind of just glimpses here and there, essentially. Hope to be able to see them follow through, though, on a nice endgame lobby. But for right now, all eyes on Peterbot and Poyo. They're trying to prevent Crisp and Noxy from actually following through, from actually crawling their way to the top of this next hill. Zone has pulled all the way over towards Reckless Railway. And Dukes and Sphinx, same layer, but only for a moment. They're going to be forced to drop to that ultimate low ground. Duke's stuck swimming in the water even, and Peterbot knows it. He's just continuing to assault their builds, trying to keep chopping that floor out from underneath them. Sphinx doing everything he can to try and hold down the wall, try and allow Duke some time to breathe, the time to regenerate his shields, but Peterbot is relentless. He just refuses to let Sphinx and Dukes have a moment to chill.
I like this because he's got to go that way anyway, so might as well have the lobby probably help him take this team down and get the refresher on the way through. Here comes the move, though. Everyone's out. Trashy, one of the first to fly overhead. Trashy and Threats. Last minute, right? We had a whole conversation about teams that had to just make do with the hands that were dealt. Trashy and Threats are in that conversation right alongside Muzz and Epic Whale. Mixon still alive right now. A little bit of life coming out of Baja Mixon. You love to see that. I see Booga and Aviv here trying to make up for time too, but the focus is in on our teams that are above that 500-point threshold. Meanwhile, though, Mongrel and Mr. Savage trying to pull an Acorn and Cold here. A victory royale in the final moments to try and jump them way up into a solidified position for Grands, or for Globals, I should say. But on the front side of the zone, I love that Vino's and Clicks are already here, but they're starting to run out of material. Things are looking so dicey here.
They're essentially surrounded at this point, but they were one of the first teams to kind of touch down on this hill. They've got a good controlling position. Now it's just about, can they overthrow height? They're looking up. Veno trying to make a layer switch, but instead going to continue to just force his way through toward the front side of zone. Batman, Booga, and Rapid may even be the ones to play spoiler here. Mongrel and Mr. Savage's high ground take, but instead the real enemy that Mongrel and Mr. Savage are facing is their lack of builds. Peterbot Poyo from the low ground, though. They've caught wind of an injured Acorn. They're trying to see if they can keep pressuring, but they're going to be forced to abandon that idea for right now. It's Mixon that they could be after.
Just about every team standing right now has a very relevant position on the leaderboard, including Vino and Clicks, who are under focus target right now of Peterbot and Poyo. They get a lot of damage in, but not enough to solidify the finish. Meanwhile, Threats is weakened. Someone else finds that Elim right there. Someone comes from behind. It's Cold and Acorn, and Cold gets finished. Fully secured there. Here comes Vino around the side. Builds are open, and they're going to fall. 7th place secured. A big, big game for them. And Booga and Aviv have controlled the low ground, but height is held with no material by Mr. Savage and Mongrel. And they will have to give this up as soon as Peterbot comes over. He recognizes, hey, high ground's not building. I don't care. I put everything on the line here and takes it from them just like that. But even now, that puts them in an even worse position, right? They have no mats to work with here. It's going to all come down to gunplay, gun skill.
Yeah, but where they don't have mats, they do have accuracy. Peterbot gonna find another elimination. Actually, nose cleaned up instead by Batman Booga, but Peterbot still, he wanted the body for the loot. Won't get a chance to actually make his way through. Booga now underneath with Aviv. They're the only thing standing between Peterbot, Poyo, and this next victory royale. Instead, Booga, Aviv, they want to take this for themselves, but Booga falling incredibly low here. Poyo now gonna find himself with no shield and and no chance to keep this one going. Booga, Peterbot 1 versus 1, but Peterbot's just better.
Peterbot hits the tags in the end. Booga was so desperate trying to grab those mats, and at least he secured the elimination. Those points do tend to add up, and he needed them more than anyone in that game. But Peterbot and Pollo winning a game here is going to tell us that they have very likely closed the gap that was starting to be built by Vino and Clicks, and not to mention they also were very much a big part of Vino and Clicks following this game. Just look at how they started to dismantle this entire lobby here, looking up to high ground, snatching things away right from underneath the hands of Mongrel and Mr. Savage there, and then turning this into a scrappy 2v2. Aviv and Booga had every opportunity to win this fight, but unfortunately lose their ones there. Pollo put so much damage to Booga there. Look, right camera peek, tracking was great. He gets the win, and Peterbot and Pollo take game number 10 now, locked and loaded there.
And yeah, it's just so tragic as well if you're sitting from Clicks and Veno's perspective, because they had an okay game. They had a good one even, some could argue, but Peterbot and Pollo just had a fantastic lobby here. It's all going to come down to the final hour, it feels like, MDF. But we'll find out what that leaderboard is looking like right after this short break.
I'm just trying to see what people are doing.
250 wood. Okay, I'll tap. It's getting 4-4. It's getting 4-4. Come here. We go from behind. We go. This is our free rotate. Come here. Wait, come here. Going down one.
Need to restart game now.
How much builds do you have? How much builds? Give me, drop me.
No, I didn't ready and restart.
Yeah, I'm about it. I didn't.
Should work. If I don't ready when you're in replay, it normally works.
No, it doesn't work for me. How much do we have? How much time?
8 minutes. I'll restart.
Joe, tapping fits next. Tapping fits next. Come back. Move on.
Hold back.
Yeah.
Back down.
This kid's right underneath us, by the way. Come back on here. They sprayed us down. I'm one. I have no builds. I'm popping a big. Holding. I have one. Come here, quick. Mantle. Yeah, I like that. Mantle up.
One here. Top 7. All good.
Bro, heights that she breathes. Oh, that. Oh!
Veno, it's alright. 80-point game. Big one's coming.
I knew it was a fucking hype was griefed as I was literally about to fucking. We didn't miss that mantle we had. It wasn't attack, it isn't take it. There's no man.
What the fuck? My fucking Elgato shit.
This is fucking pee on my.
Regarde crashed.
I don't even have a fucking. No, don't fuck about. Not after that. Do you still see screen share, bro?
No. No graph, no signal.
Fucking one.
You got 7 minutes. Restart PC maybe?
Using the timing on it there. We just had to get rid of
The
it
streaming
because
one
we can't
anyway,
get
so I
that
can
kill.
like.
Right, we can't get it.
Yeah, I just launched Fortnite twice as well. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Backside now.
My shit is so bad.
Lose this game from what I'm saying.
Oh, it's working now. Thank
The
God.
only thing
I swear I have 2
standing
Fortnites
to
open.
Peterbot
Is that even possible?
and this next victory
How did Peterbot and
will
Pollo still win that game, bro?
They want to take this for themselves, but
Or did Bugana we
Booga
win?
falling incredibly low here. Pollo now going to find himself with no shield and
Oh,
no
yeah,
chance to
Peterbot
keep
won
this
that.
one going. Booga, Peterbot, 1
Peterbot
versus
still
1,
won that,
but
even though we
Peterbot's
fucking
better.
cooked them on height so hard. They just had so many mats, I think. And they had dashes and corn.
And at least he secured the elimination. Those points do to add up, and he needed them more than anyone in that game. But Peterbot and Pollo winning
Ben.
a game.
I have one question. What is going on? Peterbot, Pollo, come out with a victory royale here in game 10 of 12. 2 games left to go. Who is letting them get victory royales, people? 9 elims on the duo. We are jumping up to 641 points. They want to keep the Axe of Champions. They are looking to get the back-to-back. They must defend this title, Vivid. That is what they're doing here. They're putting everything on the table and saying, we are not going to give up. We are not going down without a fight.
I mean, a couple of slow games. They're back-to-back 20th places for the duo. The questions started to come in. Are Clicks and Veno going to run away with this one? And then the instant answer, the victory royale, 9 eliminations worth so many points. They just established a lead on the leaderboard. Peterbot and Pollo, they're just too good. You can't count them out.
They didn't even claim Rift Island this game. They were there, but they weren't able to get the loot. In fact, that was going to be Acorn and Cold that were able to take that away. But Peterbot and Pollo, once again, waiting for the exact right time to take height, drop down, go for the eliminations. It was Booga and Aviv trying to fight against Peterbot and Pollo in the final moments, and we all thought it was going to be Booga's game. 1v1 with Peterbot and Booga, and Peterbot, being Peterbot, gets the final elimination. I cannot believe what we are witnessing right now, Zeke.
I wanted Booga to win that, right? 5 years ago, he wins Fortnite World Cup. It's like so poetic, right? That is what he was channeling there with Aviv in those final moments to take it to a top 2, to take it with so many eliminations there. Booga and Aviv are also looking for spots, the global championships. Let's take it to the standings. We only have 2 games left to go here, and NA is going absolutely sicko mode right now. Look at this top 3, okay? Peterbot, Pollo, they finally said, Clicks, Veno, y'all need to step aside. But trashy threats are also here. Batman, Booga, and Rapid are moving up. Acorn and Cold are looking to strike as well. This top 10 right now is so crazy fluid. Now, obviously, Peterbot, Pollo, 641. They're so far ahead of everyone else. But second, down to 10th is still super close. Remember, Victory Royale is 100 points.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about Clicks and Veno, right? Because now the story completely switches up. Contested at their POI, right?
No!
And I keep saying,
no!
Their early game like strategies, they keep getting messed with. I mean, last game they had to reboot. This game they had to deal with a surprise contest, and they're still making it to the end game. I seriously, like, not even kidding you. I have no idea how they're doing it. I continue to say, like, wow, early game looks terrible for them. They're so far behind on the rotations. Obviously, getting contested isn't going to help them. They just keep making it work. I don't know.
It's wild if you look at the placements that we're seeing over these last 3 games for just how top heavy the competition's become. Acorn and Cold getting a 6th, 1st, and 6th. Trashy and Threats getting a 2nd, 3rd, and 8th. Oh, Peterbot and Pollo, that's fine. They got a 1st place and a 3rd place. Batman, Booga, and Rapid get a 2/3 and a 5th today. Everyone is pulling out all the stops. Everyone is no longer fighting for top. I think we're at top 12 right now, depending on who's in the leaderboard. Everyone wants this 1st place spot. And although Peterbot and Pollo do have just a bit of a lead, we can see how quickly the tides can turn in this competition.
You talk about tides turning up on the high ground for a moment, right? Mongrel,
Here we go.
Savage, they have height. They're looking it down. And then
Yep.
Batman, Booga, and Rapid decide, we're going to take the fight to height. It is time. I also have Booga in my name. I am also a GOAT. I will look to fight for this right to go to the Global Championships. These guys are also popping off. I mean, the fact that so many different storylines are all happening here, like mostly time, we have a few duos, like there's 2-3 duos leading the pack. No, this has been an all-out brawl across the board, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're going to be watching Batman Booga right now, but I got to go ahead and mention Booga. We already talked about him, but throughout the days so far before this game right here, Booga and Aviv had picked up a total of 18 points. 18 points over the course of 3 games, with that 4th game right there, bumping themselves back up in the top 10, getting into that kind of global championships qualification spot is awesome. And yeah, you were right, Kelly. We're looking at top 12 right now because we have 2 teams that are already qualified for global championships in that top 10. It's going to be top 12 as it stands right now.
Baka and Pars currently in 12th place. We saw them get the back-to-back victory royales yesterday, but slowly slipping down the leaderboard, currently at the precipice of which teams will be finding their ticket into the global champions. Come on, guys, we know you have it in you. And once again, looking at the top right here, and I know I've said this so many times, I'm gonna say it again. Batman, Booga, and Rapid, and Bryce and Bolt deserve so much credit considering the fact that they're in the top 10 with one less game played than all the other teams.
I'm gonna pass out. Okay, I'm gonna pass out. We have 2 more games to go. Okay, if you can't tell by now that this is the craziest grand finals we've seen yet, you need to open your eyes. Just look around. 2 games left to go here. A top 12 finish as it stands right now is enough to take you to the global championships in September. The fight for the Axe of Champions is still alive and breathing and going back and forth with 2 games left to go. How does this all wrap up? MDF Taco, good luck. Good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck.
Yeah. And it's not over yet, not even close. We know that there's a real battle on our hands, and we have a long way to go. There is still an hour of competition in front of us. 2 more big games, game-defining opportunities right now. I don't know which way it's going to go, Taco. I'm going to be honest with you, but my best bet is it's going to be a wild one.
Look, all I can say is that if my heart rate is going crazy just watching all the action that's going down, I can't even begin to imagine what it actually feels like to be playing in some of these final moments. But we're right here on the penultimate game, as some would say. MDF, lobby number 11, ready to roll.
You know the best part about all this, even regardless of how, who wins this grand, finals right now, we're gonna see Clix and Vino at the globals. We already know that. They have more than enough points to remain well inside the top 10, as do some of the other teams that are now in this final race for a podium finish spot. Who will remain up amongst the top 3? Who's gonna take that global Axe of Champions? This FNCS Axe of Champions, it's gonna be ridiculous to watch play out. I'm excited though. Game 11's here. Things are just getting started, and we know that, Clix and Vino in particular are being straight contested, right? Like, and this is a super surprise to them. Very interesting though. Maybe the team actually backed off because they touched down first, so Vino's got full visuals on what's happening here. No, he actually lands a little bit short, gets a weapon, and what is happening here? He's gonna key into what is seemingly a pickaxe battle. This is so aggressive, but he wants the points here. Beautifully done there. He ends up closing it out, but oh my gosh, talk about a close call there.
Veno just doesn't care. I mean, he does, obviously, but that is exactly the kind of pressure player moment that we are just so familiarized of witnessing from Veno. And look, we get it. They're going to be at globals, sure. This is about so much more than that, though, for Clix and Veno. You're looking at Clix trying to secure his first FNCS title. Veno on the other fold, stemming all the way back to the Dropspot Talk Show, saying, I will bring him his first win. And yet, here they stand, trying to crawl their way, claw through the sort of barrier of points that Peterbot and Poya have been able to establish in that 10th lobby. But this is everything to those two, and it is so obvious. They are truly giving it everything they've got, and they're not the only ones. That's the craziest part.
And it really has been back and forth. The lead falling either into the hands of Clix or the hands of Peterbot right now. Obviously, as it stands, they are trailing behind. But look at this. Oliver, OG, and Kreese end up coming through just in the nick of time to go ahead and win that one. That's going to be 2 eliminations for them. Putting them at well over 200 points now. A win can surely put them in the conversation for a top 10 spot, but that's going to be difficult to do amongst, how consistent these players have been. Our top 4, right, when we were kind of going through that leaderboard, you know, we're rattling off exactly what positions these teams have been, you know, ending in. And they have all remained, you know, scarily consistent inside of the top 5 for 3 or 4 consecutive games now. Just impressive work and impressive to do against one another, right? Like, just given the weight of the competition right now. So it hasn't been any better than this. This is as competitive as it gets, and we are going to be in for a shakeup. So let's see it.
And I think it's so easy as well to kind of fixate on the conversation between first and second with Peterbot, Poyo, Clicks, Feno, but I also want to draw some attention towards that 3rd place spot. Trashy and Threats. They have seemingly just been on this massive come up, right? And they've been holding strong, steadily but surely working their way up with points. They've still got a decent amount of ground to cover, especially after that last performance on Peterbot and Poyo, but I don't think you can count them out by any measure. It's not that unreasonable to believe that they are just 1 or 2 plays shy of having their standout super pop-off game with eliminations, and I'm just expecting to see some craziness unfold in these last 2 lobbies. And already, you can see Threats getting a little active in that elim feed, but honing in on Reckless Railways right now. Blaha and Mixon, they're in a really tough position because saw them sitting at right around that 19th place on leaderboard. Keep in mind, this team, sure, they said, hey, we're on vacation in the States. We're going to be playing with 0 ping at least in Texas, but if they don't qual, that's kind of tragic.
Well, we were just looking at today's earned placement points. Blaha and Mixon are, or would have been top 10 already. So they are playing like they deserve their spot at the Globals. However, yesterday's performance is what's holding them back. So they're going to have to play above and beyond to make up for all those points. And with 2 games left, there's still a possibility to do so. But look at this. Threats and Trashy cleaning up house right here, sweeping the dust under the rug, finding Flappy, jumping on over onto Evan here. And it's just nasty work. That's going to give them 2 eliminations. They are already very much up inside of the race for first right now. 2 elims is a huge point swing, and that's 2 elims that go to them and 2 elims, you know, that otherwise would be cushioning Clicks and Vino's position, given that that's the team that was contesting them. So that is also going to make a difference as we see kind of the push and pull dynamics go down here in game number 11. Here's a team that we can't count out, though, Taco. Rapid and Batman Booga, who have also continued to remain relatively consistent so far. 532 points right now is just such a strong position right now for the amount of games that we have in front of us.
And what makes it even more monumental is the fact that Rapid and Batman Booga, they're down a game. They missed out on a lobby in comparison to all of our other competitors, right? And yet they are still managing to elevate themselves to being in that top 5 conversation. So Batman Booga, Rapid, definitely can't afford to take our eyes off of them by any means. Scoping in to what Yapko and Kwani have got going on. It's Flow trying to do what he can, but fortunately not going to be able to escape this time. Sigma, have to imagine he was also caught in the action there, but a nice conversion for elimination points for Yapko and Kwani overall. Teams kind of just trying to filter through where they might be able to find their best fights on the map.
Love what we've been seeing out of Rise and Agers. Still so impressed by Agers' ability to play and perform as a solo. Here today, he's had a lot of moments where he's really put up the performance. Bryce and Bolt's one of the few teams that have taken that prestigious Victory Royale in a grand final setting. All of their hard efforts pushed him way on up to 488, still fighting for their global championship spot. And it's not over yet. We've seen what happens when a team gets a big win. They shake up the standings, they make it competitive. All of these teams are gonna have to perform up until the very last game in the last moment.
kind of taking note where Chance was at in comparison to Bryce and Bolt's location over there at Reckless Railways. Bryce Bolt's probably mindful of the fact that they've got another duo in their vicinity, but Victor V and Paper, one more time, just kind of continuing to circle the flaming boost hoop that's near their drop. It seems like they may have even spotted out the fact that there's Duke sort of just a little bit ahead of them on the horizon. Cold Acorn, Nitro shoulder bash through some of these walls here as Cold wants to get an angle onto Tayson, and he finds it. That's an immediate knock there. Now Yamzo left to fend for himself, but Cold is just on a rampage. He is not allowing even a moment of relief here for Yamzo. Cold gonna take this opportunity now to just fully eliminate Tayson, so regardless of what happens with the Yamzo, best he can hope for is a play for the reboot card. Worst case scenario though, he gets eliminated outright. So he's gonna try to bail, but Cooper and Kanata from above looking to shut that dream down. Could be the end there.
Just to watch it, the way it kind of started, look at this. Cold under the effects of Nitro, swings all the way around that unlimited stamina, allowing to best Tayson on positioning there. And just like that, they find themselves those eliminations. And I also, you know, can we just give like credit, just really quickly, the fact that Clicks has also done this live, by the way, right? Like 100,000 concurrent viewers pretty much, which means millions tuning, you know, in and out over the course of a session is just, that's just bonkers in its own, right? Like, to do what he has done already is just an incredible feat. That's just legendary, right? So this is a performance that we've never seen captured in this way before, let alone, right, continue to be unfolding in real time before our eyes as we have these two games in front of us.
And right now, Veno and Clicks just gonna opt to use the campfire on this hill nearby, their initial starting point. You can tell they're basically the only team in the area, so if it's a dead side rotate that they're after, should be able to accomplish it. Problem is, we did see Evan and Flappy earlier on getting eliminated elsewhere, so those were points that could have honestly been nice for Clicks and Veno to try and secure yet again. At the same time though, I'm sure they'll be able to make up for the surge damage elsewhere. It seems like they've got a solid game plan mapped out for them to be sticking around inside of that storm as long as they were.
Haven't seen much of Raisin Curly. They've had a bit of a slow performance here today. Bryce and Bolts have continued to pick it up. Dukes and Sphinx started off really, really strong as well, and they've continued to, you know, show themselves. Come to top 15, top 10. But here we have the traditional approach to a huge surge base just outside the Reckless Railways. Plenty of teams to choose from. However, they're all already situated. So if you didn't, you know, fight them on their way to the location, then it is very unlikely that you're going to get easy opportunities to find tags here and now. You just give it a moment. The surge will start to activate. Folks will start to figure out, okay, what do I have to do here? Do I have to fight? Can I sit this one out?
It's so obvious that Duke's their reformatted strategy heading into day 2 has paid off dividends. They're one of our teams where, if you looked at day 1, it wasn't, you know, completely chalked by any means, but certainly not the position that most teams would want to find themselves in, and yet they've managed to just bounce back heavy and really force their way into the title of contention here. To pick up how they actually adjust throughout the course of these final 2 lobbies. Rapid and Batman Booga, though, they're trying to stake their claim to the capture point here at Rift Island. And I'm almost kind of just trying to scan the skies here, waiting for Peterbot and Pollo, Acorn and Cold to sort of make their debut.
Look at this, Vino full on king into Miro. And Pink here. Pink off to the side. Miro tries to double back to support his teammate, but the damage is just way too much. And they rip him apart. Pink does escape there. Clicks wasn't able to finish the deal. However, they're going to be content with this entire refresh here. And not only that, I mean, they're center zone right now, so they'll have plenty to kind of work with here as far as solidifying a pretty strong structure if they so choose to.
Right, and I think in that moment too, Clicks did exactly what he needed to. He just held Pink at bay. You could tell that Pink was trying to see if he could reunite, provide some sort of cover, some form of support there, but with the way that Clicks just kind of sat himself in between the two, that really allowed Veno to just have clean open line of sights onto Miro. Nowhere for him to really escape either. It's really hard to try and actually build up when you're stuck at the bottom of that cliff face. So I just like the execution of the play there that Clicks and Veno were able to pull off. And they've definitely left Pink in a very tough position here. Because is it possible for him to lap back around for Miro's reboot card and bring him back into this lobby? Sure, but now you're going to be a bit shambles as far as your surge situation is concerned. And that's not even factoring in the kind of distance they're probably going to have to cover to even make it into zone in the first place.
One thing I liked about what Veno did with all the excess loot, he's going to build that huge surge tower. I don't know if you saw it, and then go recap his material. So they're going to be in such a dominant position. We'll see how it ends up shaping out on the surge standings. Meanwhile, we jump back in with Bugha and Aviv here. Bugha and Aviv dropped the game today, and you can see that it's weighing heavily on their overall point status here. And that's because if you don't earn basically at least 100 points per game today, you are going to fall. You're going to fall fast given how consistent everyone else has continued and managed to be. Last game, though, was a great bounce back opportunity for Bugha and Aviv. So they've, you know, kept it competitive for themselves, if you will. But look at this. This is not looking good. Peterbot is hurt here. Boyo is down, and the lobby is firing in. He's running low on material now as well. But he's gonna get the save. And Quanti doesn't have time to jump down. Quanti is debating on options here, and he's gonna back off. And talk about a close call. If they would have fallen here, wow, what a story we'd have playing out before our eyes.
Granted, they're not out of the hot water just yet. I know that they just managed to find themselves above that damage threshold. Quanti, however, he's in a really tough position. He was forced to kind of leave Yapko behind there, but Poyo and Peterbot just over this ridge. I saw Acorn and Cold, and they're not the only ones that could be lurking nearby. So Poyo and Peterbot, they could still potentially get caught out here, but it is going to be a lot more difficult to try and confirm an elimination onto one or a pair even after they got that refresh off of Yapko.
Fast to react there, but unfortunately couldn't time the drop. Bolt and Bryce, every time we tune in, position themselves high and mighty over the lobby. I like that they play like this as well. It's just a refreshing take. Still fishing for tags here. Zone's not too far off, and they're continuing to do what they need to remain relevant. Dukes and Finks on the other side. Very much neck and neck on the point threshold, too. Like, look at that. They are just about equal with Bryce up top.
I think a lot of our teams inside of that top 10 sort of understanding they can't afford to have even the slightest stumble at this point, because then you're left with only one lobby to perform. And with the way that things are shaping up here, MDF, I could definitely see some craziness ensuing inside of our final match of this weekend. Bugha and Aviv, though, they've traveled down from that north end of Classy Courts, spent a decent amount of time inside of the storm, and yet they still find themselves well above that damage threshold. So they have been able to converge on other players for that damage. Still, this lobby on the other end of the bridge, across from Reckless Railways, Peterbot, Poyo, trying to see if they can get an opening onto Virgo and Shadow. Veno and Clicks as well. Clicks is incredibly hurt here. They do have an ample amount of heals. The problem is, will they be able to get them off? They could even potentially get held here just outside the edge zone.
This is a fight that is definitely winnable, but Zeke jumps in, and you just never know once you start throwing the wild cards in the mix here. Like I said before, there's a reason I call Seek and Dash, in particular the Disruptors, alongside Nerface and Sid. They're just really good when it comes down to taking fights, taking battles. Blaha and Mixon are also a very scary duo to fight here today. If you just look at the points, though, as far as total earned points, you wouldn't figure them to be such a threat, but today they're playing like a top 10 duo and then some. So this is a very dangerous position to be in for Clix and Vino now, who have completely exhausted their heals. Look at that. And everyone in this bottom pocket here is very worse for wears right now. Blaha, though, does have a med kit to play with. He's got plenty of materials, so it was just a means of surge. And now playing for the zone here, it's going to go north. So this is good, this early reveal. They should be moving soon and not sticking around, so they won't be too much of a problem for some of the other teams here. But it's going to be the surge that's going to start determining a lot for teams here. Blaha and Mixon will have to fight.
They're trying to get some traction up this hill, but unfortunately, that heal situation rapidly dwindling, especially once those Storm Surge ticks start to come into effect. Paco gets knocked in the distance. This could be a much needed amount of damage here for Blaha and Mixon. It does cut the gap ever so slightly, but they're still 68 below that threshold margin. They need more. Shots raining in as well from Chubbs and Skittles on the high ground across the way, and they're not the only ones. Victor V, Paper as well, also holding a decent elevated position. So Blaha Mixon, they're forced to wrap around from the opposite end that they were initially planning to patch their way through. Threats, though, this is big. Threats is found on the low ground, but he clutches it up. Havoc nearly playing spoiler there. He might have done just enough, though, to ruin Threats' initial plans here to try and revive Trashy. If he can get this med kit off, he does have enough to work with, but he might just have to keep it moving. I don't know if he's gonna have time. Doesn't look like the intention here is to go for the pickup any longer.
Yeah, there's still shots coming in. And then if you bring your focus to Vino and Clicks, is not looking good for them. They are so hurt right now. And although they've earned 3 eliminations this game, tags are also coming in, and they're out of material. Crashback comes out. This is a desperate move to the dead side of the zone right now. Very, very close call for them. There's teams in front of them, but the terrain is going to work in their favor. Now, here's the question. Do they just sit and wait for an opportunity to come their way? Do they play for placement points here and now? But instead, it seems like the decision's been called out. They want this refresh. They have to get it, but no. Poffy and company make it up and over.
It's gonna be one more
This
crash
is so close.
forward. Veno, he's still got Source and Poppy in his sights, but he might have to change his mind. He can't find another duo in time, though. That's gonna be the end of their 11th lobby run here at the hands. Sphinx for 1 credited. Threats, though, 3 eliminations. And again, keep in mind, they were sitting at 3rd, entering this lobby. Threats trying to do everything in his power. He's gonna catapult himself forward, front side of zone, but he knows he's gonna have to stick to the low ground. He's trying to go by unnoticed. For the time being, he is in a relatively isolated position, but as these teams continue to move forward, that could be a very problematic position that Threats finds himself in.
Given what just played out, Clix and Vino falling in 20th. Peterbot and Boyo still standing here and likely to run up plenty more points. Do we put it past Vino to land on Clix? Make the call for Vino and Clix to land on Peterbot and Boyo. The only chance that they have is to literally take these guys out of the lobby. There's about 50 or 60 points gapping them right now. So come when this game concludes and all the points have been tallied up, it's only going to become more and more worse if they remain standing here. Threats has a chance here to catch up, but it's not looking good. They're also going to get locked in position, so second and third for now won't move an inch, but Acorn and Cold are up top. They have a lot of room to go ahead and catch up now. Depending on how big of a game they can make out of this one, they'll be in the race for first place as well coming into the last game.
Like what Cole did there from the other end, make sure that they can connect from the high ground. So now they've got their pick of the litter, and Acorn, he's going to continue tarping out, as you already called. Good amount of material to work with as well, and they know that they have time on their side because of how much damage they already have above that surge threshold. They're just looking down, waiting for their opportunities. They see teams going for the rotates. Duke's going to be one of the first ones getting lit up in the sky. These crash pad rotates now seemingly more impossible to go by unscathed. Peterbot and Poyo, though, they find Mongrel and Mr. Savage. Excuse me, it's just going to be Mongrel on the low ground, but regardless, the damage is done here. Taken out in seconds as Peterbot and Poyo, even though they don't necessarily have the greatest material count, it might not matter. They know they can slow play this, and they're going to drop to ultimate low instead. They're just trying to clean up eliminations as they slide into them.
This has been the game plan the entire time. Every time they jump down and they just work their way, cut down the lobby from the low ground here. But look, Boyo's down. Peterbot's solo here. He will have to play this one out. Continued. We're not inside the top 10 just yet, but he's got a lot of material to work with given the fact that he's on the ultimate low ground. Plenty of builds here. Meanwhile, high ground pressure continues to come down. Acorn and Cold hasn't given up an inch here. They are keeping that height very much distance from the rest. And look, the fact that the rest of the lobby hasn't even had a chance to look up and pressure them back tells us a lot. Peterbot slow healing through the zone. Placement points slowly getting banked right here. He's in the 700 plus point threshold. It's crazy to even look at those numbers. It's absurd at how much he has been able to earn this game and continues to earn. A lot of competition in front of him though. Batman Booger Rapid still in the game. Sphinx Duke's here. Muzz, Epic Whale still alive. A lot of teams that are fighting for global championship spots are still here in the running.
But Acorn and Cold, they're content to just let the rest of this lobby sort of cannibalize itself for them. They're still perched pretty up above everybody else. Rapid and Batman Booga trying to do what they can to work their way up. Instead, they're finding themselves moderately chopped. Spinks and Dukes, though, they're going to get shut down. But it's too little too late here. Rapid finds himself falling, caught in the crossfires. Peterbot actually going to prosper, but it's only momentary. Cold has dropped. Join the mix with everybody else just playing that ultimate cleanup crew. It's only Batman Booga going for the medkit playoff. But I don't know if he has the... Actually, take that back. He's got plenty of medkits to work with.
He's got a lot of heals, and this is a 10-elimination game. They are going to be in the race, by the way, for an FNCS championship here. Acorn and Cold, I can't believe they are flying their way up the standings as well. This is going to go all the way through to the end. I love that he's going to crash pad very far and away here. Acorn, very, very smart play. Cold is trying to make sure that Batman Booga couldn't get the points, but it doesn't matter. Acorn and Cold in the end will win this game. Their second victory royale now within a 3-span run is just incredible. An incredible feat to perform here on the day 2 of the grand finals.
Still gotta love the hustle there from Batman Booga. He had 4 medkits that he was trying to operate with for that initial heal off. Unfortunately for him, Acorn, yeah, he just played for the win there. He essentially knew, look, we understand the fact that he's hidden somewhere in all of these pre-existing builds. I don't have to waste my time hunting him down. I'm gonna leave that up to Cole to play Disruptor. And yeah, Acorn just able to solidify, confirm a second victory royale though, MDF. And Acorn and Cold, like what Cole did there from the other end, make sure that they can connect from the high ground on their side because of how much damage they already have above that surge threshold. They're just looking down, waiting for their opportunities. They see teams going for the rotates. Duke's going to be one of the first ones getting lit up in the sky. These crash pad rotates now seemingly more impossible to go by unscathed. Peterbot and Pollo, though, they find Mongrel and Mr. Savage. Excuse me, it's just going to be Mongrel on the low ground, but regardless, the damage is done here. Taken out in seconds as Peterbot and Pollo, even though they don't necessarily have the greatest material count, it might not matter. They know they can slow play this, and they're going to drop to ultimate low instead. They're just trying to clean up eliminations as they slide into them.
This has been the game plan the entire time. Every time they jump down and they just work their way, cut down the lobby from the low ground here. But look, Pollo's down. Peterbot's solo here. He will have to play this one out. Continue. We're not inside the top 10 just yet, but he's got a lot of material to work with given the fact that he's on the ultimate low ground. Plenty of builds here. Meanwhile, high ground pressure continues to come down. Acorn and Cold hasn't given up an inch here. They are keeping that height.
But I had no mats, bro. Even though you guys were going.
The rest of the lobby hasn't even had a chance.
Even though you guys were going.
The rest of the lobby hasn't even had a chance.
They're clutch more there.
Look up and pressure them back tells us a lot. Peterbot slow healing through the zone. Placement points slowly getting banked right here. He's in the 700+ point threshold. It's crazy to even look at those numbers. It's absurd at how much he has been able to earn this game and continues to earn. A lot of competition in front of him, though. Batman, Booga, Rap is still in the game. Sphinx, Duke's here. Muzz, Epic Whale still alive. A lot of teams that are fighting for a global championship
The tap is at outright and then go up the hill. Bang.
But Acorn and Cold, they're content to just let the rest of this lobby sort of cannibalize itself for them. They're still perched pretty up above everybody else. Rapid and Batman Booga trying to do what they can to work their way up. Instead, they're finding themselves moderately chopped. Sphinx and Dukes, though, they're going to get shut down. But it's too little too late here. Rapid finds himself falling, caught in the crossfires. Peterbot actually going to prosper, but it's only momentary. Cold has dropped.
Cold and Acorn winning another game.
Mix with everybody else just playing that ultimate cleanup crew. It's only Batman Booga.
Cold and Acorn are so good, bro.
I don't know if he has the
I was in call with like Vino and Blood X earlier. We were all like, yeah, I mean, Cold's gonna come back, you know.
They are going to be in the race for an FNCS championship here. Acorn and Cold, I can't believe they are flying their way up the standings as well. This is going to go all the way through to the end. I love that he's going to crash pad very far and away here. Acorn,
oh my god,
very, very smart play.
He barely even got the finish. I remember Booga with 7 kills though.
Batman Booga get the points, but it doesn't matter. Acorn and Cold in the end will win this game. They're
oh, Ben.
I'm gonna pass out.
I'm gonna pass out.
Gonna pass out. Okay? I'm going to pass out. All right? This has been the craziest grand finals I think I've ever seen in my life. So many different things transpired in this last game. First, Acorn and Cold get themselves the victory royale. Let's just give them their flowers really quickly, okay? Acorn and Cold, don't forget, these guys have already qualified to the Global Championships. They're good. Right now, they're just playing for an Acts of Champions and prize money. This game was so crazy for so many different things. We'll get to that in a second. Vivid Kelly, I want to just highlight these guys first and talk about their win in Game 11.
I want to go ahead and highlight the fact that, guys, yeah, Zeke's literally out of breath. You can hear it. Like, he's been screaming at how these games are going right now for good reason. But yeah, Acorn and Cold, I mean, what is this day 2 resurgence? I mean, 6th, 1st, 6th, 1st, one final game, and they have just soared up the leaderboard. Where in the heck did they come from?
Yeah, man. You know, when we say day 2 teams, I wasn't actually expecting it to be this polarizing. Acorn and Cold just going absolutely ham right now. 2 victory royales and absolutely climbing up the leaderboard. I cannot wait to see the standings. We all know that Peterbot and Pollo, they are in first place right now after Peterbot's insane solo. What is he doing? How is he able to stay alive for so long? I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know. We have a single game left to go here, guys. With 3.5 minutes. Let's try and tee up everything we can. Let's take it to the standings, as Kelly talked about. Yeah, Peterbot Pollo, they are in first place by a big margin. All they have to do is hold on, and they will have back-to-back championship titles. Oh, and we're just going to leave that there, right? I just want to leave that there because these guys have had a crazy run. They are so deserving of it. If they were to win, right, the only way this could be up in the air is like they get eliminated off spawn. Vivid, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, no, I mean, you always wonder, like, what can really happen to this duo? I mean, Pollo goes down, and then it's like Peterbot's alive. He's just literally crouching around builds. He uses, like, 3 med kits somehow. And I was like, dude, like, how many points has this guy put up as a solo? 124 between both days combined right now. If you take a look at the leaderboard right now, that would put them almost around, like, 600 and some odd points. They would be in like 5th place right now or something like that if it wasn't for the solo points that Peterbot himself has picked up. Incredible work by him.
Speaking of incredible work,
Say it.
Veno. I know. I see it. Click
Say it.
Veno. They go down 2 placements.
That's
They're in
not as
4th right now. But Veno going for the third party by himself and getting an elimination is absolutely wild. Vivid, I can't even speak right now.
I mean, yeah, this duo, I'm not gonna lie, they have gone through a lot throughout this grand finals, throughout this past week, between trying to try new things, finding out the day before grand finals that actually their original strategy is going to turn out very, very well. Yeah, in grand finals, it has been working out very, very well. But now all the other teams are like, listen, we're not doing so well. We got to switch up our strategy. Let's try landing on them. Let's try landing on one of the hills that they love fighting for. And still, time and time again, they continue to overcome. Yeah, it's probably slowing them down a little bit in terms of the race for the grand finals win, but still being up here in 4th place is seriously impressive.
Batman Booga, Rapid have moved up 2 placements. We talk about impressive. Oh, what on God's readers are these guys doing? Batman, Booga, Rapid are just putting on a show. Kelly, that's what I was meaning when I was going to say it.
Oh, you know I am here to support Batman Booga and Rapid. Batman Booga, now the prime Booga of the competition. He's going to have to change his name or something because he has just been on a tear today. They do such a good job on the low ground, just being so smart with the engagements that they take, grabbing Elam after Elam after Elam. It is wild that they have been able to climb up so far and sit in 2nd place, practically the only team within reach of taking away the 1st place spot from Peterbot and Pollo. But that is such a difficult feat to achieve, and I don't know if it's in the cards for them today, but I really hope it is.
Zeke, one final game literally separates not only us from a champion, but also let's keep in mind those global spots. Right now, we have 2 teams already qualified to globals in that top 10. So we're looking at top 12 right now, 441 points. It's actually a 42-point lead over 13th right now. Victor V. Paper, Ager's Rise, hold on.
Anything could happen. The last game of FNCS Grand Finals in North America. Everyone, find your seats. Grab the popcorn. Don't pass out. I'll pass out for you. It's fine. We do this one last time. Axe of Champions on the line. Prize money on the line. And then a top 12 will be moving on to Global Championships. Taco, MDF, best of luck. I'm passing out for you. Go on.
Yeah, we have a lot to look forward to. Obviously, there's going to be this race for the FNCS Grand Finals winner. And then holding on. Who will hold on for their land spot, right? That's the next big milestone here. Taco, with the last game in front of us, I really couldn't say what's going to happen here.
Yeah, especially when you were looking at that secondary page. I mean, I caught sight of Tayson and Yamzo of all duos just outside the threshold. So we'll see whether or not they'll be able to punch their ticket to that global championship, because the final lobby, game 12, is here.
Don't need to second guess yourselves anymore. Game 12 of the grand finals is here. And after 2 incredible days of competition, we finally get to see who will lift that FNCS grand finals win for the North American region. And this season in particular has been so special, given how many teams from Europe have entered into the fray here. And not only did they enter into the ecosystem, they qualified their way to the grand final stage, really showing you how great the player base truly is here. And one thing to note, one thing we really got to never forget is that if you are in this lobby right now, I mean, you are one of the best players in the world to have ever done it. So everyone here is a winner in some way or another, but to get to that next step, you're gonna have to dig very, very deep here. Vino and Clicks, right, to continue this little bit of a conversation we have going on here, have finally kind of earned their drop spot back from the team that was contesting them. Peterbot and Pollo have never stopped having the freedom here at the Red Line Rig. And we know, right, Taco, explain to the viewers why this is such a strong drop spot, because this is not the first time they've had a very good drop spot to themselves.
It's exclusively that machinist medallion, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Mythic Combat Assault Rifle is also a treacherous weapon in the hands of Peterbot, but the fact of the matter is, the Machinist Medallion is the only medallion that can be efficiently shared between a duo. Unlike having infinite nitro or infinite ammo, where seemingly only one player is ever going to benefit at a time, as long as Peterbot and Pollo stay at least within a box reach of each other, essentially, they'll be able to share 75 shield regeneration, and even better still, it's 5 shield a tick. And that alone, it's just so much more impactful. It makes it so much more difficult to actually try and challenge Peterbot and Pollo, whether it's a play for height or just an overall box fight. Teams just struggle to find a quick closure, and the longer time to elimination takes, the higher the odds of a third party entering the conversation, the higher the odds of Peterbot and Pollo simply out-sustaining you. And that's not even factoring in just how strong they both are individually, mechanically speaking.
Yeah, it's like having a souped up slurp juice round the clock. Like, it's crazy, the little things. But here we have it. Game 12 is already underway, and I could, you know, again, we're ahead of you guys, so I could already see the rumblings coming as these fights are gonna start to make their way to the air. Let's see it here though. Clicks and Vino keying the first team next door. It's gonna be Exets, Edgy, and Death. Already Vino's pushing pretty heavily on the opposite side of the wall here. Clicks pushing in on the other wall, trying to see if there's a couple of points here to be earned.
Veno and Clicks know they don't have any time to waste. They have to just start converting points, even if it comes out of thin air. But Edgy, Death, doing a decent job at scrambling from the low. Veno's gonna drop down to their lair while Clicks continues to pressure from above, but Clicks, Veno, despite having a split angle approach, they haven't really found any confirmed openings. I say that, then noticing Death shield falling relatively low here, and Clicks with that Flowberry Fizz, but that pause to recuperate his own shield is going to allow for both Edgy and Death to regenerate some of theirs as well. No third-party action involved into the mix just yet, though, as Edgy continues to crouch around, continues to see if he can find a little bit of a flank position here onto Clicks. He's got to be careful. Clicks from overhead goes for the side jump, and Edgy gets some decent shots into him. But Edgy immediately going to converge back to his original position, side by side with Death. Both of these duos not really seemingly, they don't want to budge.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's going through Vino and Clix's mind here. Is Vino thinking with how much of a gap he has to close here, you know, onto the likes of Peterbot and Boyo, do they want to just find a lot of elims? Do they want to key the lobby? You can see that that's not going to be easy by any means. Even though Edgy and Death, you know, arguably on the leaderboards are so far behind them, that does not equivalent to, you know, it's not equivalent to a free elimination by any means. And that's gonna be the problem, right? That Vino and Clix are in store for here. How do you earn that many points? How do you earn so many points that you fly past out of 4th place and get into 1st? It's like you have to take out your top competition, or it's gonna be impossible to do so. And that can be said for all these teams. It can be said for Trashy and Threats as well. And by the way, we're gonna have to give a lot of credit to teams like Trashy and Threats, who came together and managed to make lemonade out of the lemons that they were given earlier in the weeks here, because they put together a bomb squad from the past, right? Kind of reunited here, and they're popping off once again like the good old days. So really fun stuff we're watching unfold here.
Yeah, especially when you also factor in that Trashy and Threads, they were one of our more last-minute type of duos to even develop. Mongrel and Mr. Savage, though, they're in a world of hurt currently at the Shipwreck Shallows. Mongrel trying to scramble, but that's gonna be the end of it. Their story.
I guess that's what happens when you work hard for 2 months and the game gets completely changed after you decide your drop spot, revolving around the meta.
Long stretch of a break.
Yeah.
And yet he's still
it was
able to compete. It's incredible.
Yeah, it was a very lengthy break, and for him to bounce back like you just mentioned, I mean, he has only gotten better, and I think he will continue to get better. So I hope he keeps his head up, and I just hope he keeps digging deep and practicing, right? There is so much potential for him to continue to do well. The leaderboards you're seeing on the side there are updating, and already our 12th place spot has fallen, which means there is a position open this game now for a new team to enter into the conversation of attending the Global Championship as a player. And those teams could be Baka Pars, Japka Kwani, Kanata Cooper. There are many, many heavy hitters on the line here. Iamzo Tayson, right? There's so many teams outside of the top 12 bubble. And we say top 12 because there are 2 teams inside of our top 3 that already are qualified, so they cannot take a spot away from anyone else. Those spots go down the leaderboard, so it's top 12.
I'm more so looking towards Baka, Pars, Yapko Kwani, and the Yamzo Tayson discussion. Kanata and Cooper are chilling, but I think that for Yapko and Kwani especially, these guys have definitely had to overcome a lot of turmoil, and they're trying to confirm a couple of eliminations right now. Yet again, onto Flo and Sigma. But Flo and Sigma, they're just looking to try and essentially bide their time. They know that if they sit here long enough, Yapko and Kwani, they might just feel a little bit more pressure to try and get a move on, right? The teams don't want to get caught out of position, but on that same fold, Kwani, Yapko, they've spent enough time here now. Once you have that sort of time investment, you kind of have to confirm eliminations for that surge damage.
Yeah, they could easily be overstaying their welcome here, and now I think they recognize that as well. And given, I like that they move now, because they're moving now that they've exhausted all of their wood, right? They didn't really use too much of the heavy materials, but they're like, all right, we went through all of our wood. We've been here for a while. The zone's already revealed itself. Let's get going. And I think that's a good indicator that it might just be time to give up and get a move on it. Meanwhile, Trashy and Threats up against Chubbs and Skittles. These are very much teams that are super familiar with one another. And actually, I'm just looking at his threats right now. Trashy was knocked by Evan just moments ago. And that's a big deal, given the fact that they're in 5th place right now. This is a very, very relevant team, and this is a very critical moment for this team. And quite honestly, how much money they're gonna make. They're top 10. I mean, they're there. They're chilling. But those dollars are gonna literally melt away if they can't clutch up and stay in the game right now at this point.
Yeah, but that could also be a nice break for Clicks and Bennett if you think about it, because Threats, Trashy, they're the ones trying to encroach on their position, and Threats, he's not going to be able to keep this run going. 6th place now with a very real opportunity to try and overcome that top 5. Flappy and Evan are going to shut down Trashy and Threats in our final game of Major 3 Grand Finals. An insane feat when you really think about it. Evan and Flappy have not really converted many wins on the day in general, but they're playing spoiler at the most critical times for more than just one duo on the matches here today. Baka and Pars, though, trying to do what they can to recover, considering their current position on that leaderboard. We'd already highlighted earlier, they are just outside of that top 12 conversation. But one promising feature, I'm seeing these forecast towers kind of lit up around the map. I know I saw one for Clicks and Benno earlier on. Have to expect that they were able to confirm that forecast tower knowledge, and maybe with it, I think one thing that I could make for a really interesting approach for Clicks and Benno is if they actually opt to go to Rift Island this game, because that is somewhere that Peterbot and Pollo have consistently been traveling to. And if you want to try and take Destiny into your own hands, one of the only times that you're ever going to really have that open opportunity to actually engage Peterbot and Pollo is when they are at Rift Island, and you know that they like to go for it consistently.
Two teams that are very much fighting for the same position right now. Iamzo, Tayson, Cooper, and Kanata exchange a couple tags, a couple shots, and then back off one another. Given that Cooper and Kanata positioned up first, they're going to respect that. And what separates them is essentially one endgame. Any of these teams in the top 16 secure an endgame, they are pretty much locking it in.
Yeah, it's just like I said, with Cooper and Kanata, they're the only ones that don't really have as much to lose aside from prize money. Keep in mind, 3rd place finish in Major 2. They've already confirmed their spot on the battle bus for the Global Championship, but obviously everybody would like a little bit more money to go with it. So, can't ever count out Cooper and Kanata by any means. I'm sure that they are still going to do everything in their power to force their way into that top 10 conversation. But again, it's not an easy means.
This is what I'm expecting, you know, your teams inside the top 10 to play way more passively this game than any other. And then Peterbot and Pollo to actually have the opposite effect, given that they already have a winning seat and they're in the lead by a significant amount. So they can be as destructive as they want, and I think most teams are going to shy away from a challenge right now because they're going to be more concerned about going to Global Championship and not falling early. So I think it's a very interesting dynamic that ultimately played out just now as we start bending our way towards the mid-game of this Game 12 right now. There's Victor B and Paper. They have a team below them. They have a crash pad ready, and they're going for it.
Paper is sort of just leading the charge here. Got that elevated position, but Paper's going to drop, apply some pressure onto Havoc's wall. Havoc and Cirque seem like they're struggling a little bit here, but Paper, it's like he's got a fire underneath his feet. He's trying to make sure that they can convert this into 2 solid eliminations. He's going to scramble back up, though, to his ramps. He wants to get up and over this hill here. And they understand the assignment. They got A little bit of surge damage online. They're gonna head back into the remains of this weapons bunker, and while it would have been nice to confirm those 2 eliminations, Paper, Victor V, I think that they also understand the fact they're in 11th place. They are on the cusp right now. They cannot afford for any mishaps. If they get eliminated here and now, it is very unlikely that they will remain seated in that 11th place position, and even better still, they're also another team that's looking to try and elevate themselves 1, 2, 3, however many positions they can. They want it inside of that top 10 leaderboard.
Oh yeah, they've done so much in the last 2 weeks to build up, you know, their notoriety amongst the Fortnite community. Paper's always been respected and well known. He's a fun guy, but Victor V is kind of given that team, you know, this new lens to really look in on and you know, ask yourself, wait a second, do we have something special being formulated here, right, amongst a veteran and this very new up-and-comer? It's kind of how, like, that Cold and Acorn story kind of became as well, right? And Cold finally had his opportunity and took off. But hold up, back to the fight here. Batman, Booga, and Rapid. Rapid gets collapsed on by a team rotating just on their outskirts, and this is treacherous territory right here as well for them, because they have a chance to win this entire tournament right now, and they cannot afford to burn material, burn heals in the mid game right now, let alone fall behind on positioning here. And they're backtracking. I don't know what's happening here. They felt like they exhausted too many materials, so they're gonna try to play the big brain play to, like, sweep around, but oh no, they're getting spotted out here. He's gonna be forced to use the dashes. Good call by Batman Booga, but that could have went south really quickly there.
They're not out of the thick of it just yet either. So many teams kind of dealing around them. Yamzo, Tayson, though, this is a huge blow. Tayson is down. Yamzo, a solo south of the Nitrodrome. So much ground to cover. He has to muster up something massive here, and in fact, he's gonna head back into the storm. It's a reboot van play that I think Yamzo is gonna be hoping for here. At the very least, confirming the eliminations onto Virgo and Shadow is gonna be a nice bump in points, but recovery tour if he's able to get Tayson back up and running off of the reboot.
Peterbot looking to clear up the visuals that are blocking up the line of sight here, and look at that. Very well worth it. Already reveals Booga, and it's smart of him to do that now. Just look at the map, right? He understands that we're on the congested side. Team should be coming towards us, and he just doesn't miss. He is very spot on. Peterbot is on track to be easily, right? Easily the best amongst the best duos of any performers, right? In this entire 2024 year across all regions. Peterbot and Pollo are very much that duo right now. They're in that conversation, and I think you can put Cold and Acorn up there as well. If you just look at the points earned today by itself, Cold and Acorn would be in first by a long shot. They are outperforming even Peterbot and Pollo, which is impressive given that they're 40 points ahead coming into this game. If it was just today, however, this is a two-day tournament. Now I'm looking at the feed right now. Pollo finds one, Vino finds one. The big teams are still in it. Iamzo is holding on right now, and one of our bubble teams fall. Japco is out, Quanti is out, back to the lobby, and their tournament run ends here and now.
Just can't help but feel for Yamzo in this position. He's so close, so many past circumstances, but as a solo, it is looking like a very tough endeavor. Batman Booga, Rapid though, these are some very much needed points if they want to try and overtake that first place position, but it also just hinges upon whether or not anybody can shut down Peterbot and Pollo, who happen to be staring them down from across the water, just outside of restored reels. Batman Booga, he's at least gonna get a chance to heal. 2 more medkits still in tow as well, but that is the last of his shield resources. Now everything else is gonna depend upon how much Flowberry Fizz Rapid actually has available, but he's looking to cut off Paper, he's looking to cut off Victor V. No tags gonna connect though. Crash pad rotate is successful, and now Batman Booga and Rapid, they've got to get a move on themselves. They're trying to keep it moving.
I'm seeing Nox happen right now. Nox on names that I don't want to see be down right now. And talking about that, Bryce is one of them for sure, but Yamzo needs those points way more than Bryce does, as they're above them on the standings. That's going to open up more solos here, and I'm looking in the distance. I don't see Kanata. I saw Cooper there. A little glimpse of Koopa. Baka in pars. Just holding on right now. And the mental fortitude that you have to have if you're Baka in pars. You went back-to-back Victor Royales, and then you just started dudding out game after game after game, talking about 0 points earned, and all of a sudden you go from being in the conversation to win the grand finals to now barely holding on to go to the actual LAN event come September. It is just a roller coaster of emotions, and for them to still be holding on and make it this far, I mean, they made it to the end game. That's a huge, huge improvement over the last couple rounds. Yamzo still holding on, tries to go ahead and recycle this crash pad, knows that he can't just hit it face on. Very smart of him to swing around the side, and we have been here before. We see what happens when the river comes into place. This is gonna start opening up all types of chaos, and anything can happen now, including the most unpredictable high ground retakes. Yamzo just trying to defend right now. Ooh, big find onto Reed here, and the finish. The more points, more placement points for him.
He couldn't have found that at a better moment. Gets a little bit of a mat refresh as well. Come on, Yamzo, just keep trekking forward. Everything depends on this solo clutch right now for his spot to the global championship. And Yamzo taking fate into his own hands. Blaha Mixon gonna fly right by him. You might have noticed Mixon get incredibly hurt on the way through, but look directly behind where Yamzo is currently fixated. Peterbot, Poyo continuing to rack up the damage as well. They've only got 1 elimination so far, but realistically speaking, they are truly just in control right now for as to the pacing of this one, because nobody can seem to match them for where they're currently at.
Well, this is still a problem. They only have a single elimination, so there's room available, and there's a lot of players still alive. Clix and Vino being one of them in that mix there. Batman, Booga, and Rapid being the closest on their heels. They will have to outperform them by a long shot now through placement points and eliminations. The time is now. Booga's down. Vino's in the water here. Sight lines are open for Batman Booga there. He didn't quite take the shot. They're more focused in on the rotation, staying in front of the zone, but they're starting to gas out. They're starting to run out of material here.
They're not the only ones though. Peterbot, Poyo smothered a little bit here in their lair, but at the same time, look at the top. Vorteca and Paco from the high ground, just trying to rain down as many shots as possible to all these teams getting caught in the congestion. That slight hill causing so many issues for the teams underneath it. Veno Click's gonna be one of them at the bottom of that hillside, but everybody surging forward now, trying to make sure they can stay towards that front side of zone. Clix and Veno, though, with that forecast knowledge, they seemingly want to continue playing from the back. They're trying to see if they can just catch any stragglers off guard instead. Now they're gonna make their move forward. Hazard, Sandman dropping just in front of them. Clix and Veno could have a box fight on their hands here. As Batman Booga, he's just trying to go for the solo medkit play.
He's just holding on right now while Peterbot finds an elimination there. So now they're focusing in on high ground. Peterbot and Foyo are taking down the high ground team right now. They might be trying to set themselves up for a victory royale and a victory lap on the lobby right now. And I'm just focused in on how they are pushing and decimating the lobby right now. Vino and Clix are going for high ground, and we're seeing a fight for the ages right here. But Peterbot, Boyo, give it up. They respect the high ground hold from Vino and Clicks. Vino and Clicks have to dig so far into the plays here to do something big to find the points. Pollo is down. It's up to Peterbot once again to hold on to the dream here, to be the back-to-back FNCS champions, and Batman Booga is still holding on somehow as well, not giving up his position here. His second place hold is still alive at the moment. Acorn and Cold alive in the low ground as well, but it's gonna come down to eliminations and a hefty amount, and the win here too. Heal loss are happening everywhere. Sight lines are open for Peterbot onto Clicks and Vino. Fight breaking out. Vino's down. Clicks is by himself now. New high ground team is in, and I think Acorn and Cold are gonna be looking to start to turn things around here shortly and capitalize here and now.
Clicks and Peterbot are both out of their medkits. They're both trying to fly forward, catch up with the rest of the lobby. Batman Booga, no heals remain. Tries to get another elimination. Peterbot does confirm one for himself. Hazard dropping. Peterbot down. Acorn and Cold, they are still holding strong though. Same case scenario for Clicks, but he is finally eaten up by Cold, who also gets dropped simultaneously. Sandman could be looking to scoop this Victor Royale out from the depths. Hazard and Sandman steal this one away from Acorn and Cold, despite how promising things were looking for them out of the low ground. But the real fixation for me, MDF, is what actually took place with our top 5 on the leaderboard.
You stack them up, they will knock them down. It just doesn't get any better than that. Every team who had a realistic chance and opportunity at being your champions was in that end game. Congratulations though in the end to Sandman and Hazard, who have rocketed their way up with a huge game 12. We'll see if there's any significance to what place they will end this tournament in, Taco, but ultimately that was an incredible game so far.
Yeah, I think that really they're just looking at some extra placements for prize pool, but were they able to play enough disruptor to our teams trying to fixate themselves inside of that top 12? I need to see what that leaderboard consists of, MDF. It's been an awesome time throughout day 1 and day 2 here of Major 3 for the NAFNCS Grand Finals, but the ride to Texas, the final score count, all of it remains for Zeke, Vivid, and Kelly to break down.
Thank you so much, MDF and the best Taco. Just a fantastic set of games here in NA, and we can say without a doubt, it is confirmed, Peterbot and Pollo have done it. The back-to-back has happened. Peterbot and Pollo, congratulations once again. The Empions will not leave their possession, and they're taking that. They're gonna take that to the Global Championships in September as a big flex piece. Like, hey, we are the ones that want to take it all home. Congratulations to the duo. Vivid, they fought for it. It started slow, then it got out of control, and then they were the ones who came out on top of everybody else.
Without a doubt, had themselves on top of everybody's predictions. They were the ones that were going to secure CS in what has seemed like forever. The last ones to technically do it, Booga and Miro, when they were teammates between game mode.
I split you wood. I'm looking up. There's no heart, wait. I don't think, wait.
Nitros.
I'm
Three
Nitro.
nitros.
Okay. Nitro, do you have any shoots for me?
Yeah.
I have 4 builds.
I'm 6.
Ooh, they need to go down.
Build. Or we drop. Build for now.
I have 1
Need to drop that.
Kid.
One build.
I'll Nitros again.
Okay,
Keep
buddy.
bait.
Come again. Okay.
We jump on
the
zone
trees. We can maybe farm the trees and go up.
Yeah, drop the tree.
So good, what a good call. I didn't even see that.
I went up.
4 builds.
I have 1. Spray dead side.
Hey, bang, behind you.
No way they win this game and they win Grands, right?
They got drop.
I'm up. One build. They're going up front, maybe.
Vino is supposed to win out. It's fucking nice.
50 on him.
Going up. I'm up.
Team crash betting. No.
You can dash. Okay.
Play that medkit.
I can bring my
Beautiful.
body so you get mats.
Pull back. Oh, it was far. He's gonna get Vino's mats. This might be a top 3 here.
Behind you.
Nice Vino. No, nice clicks. One build. Reload shotgun.
3 solos.
One build.
That's your kill. Oh, 34.
Everyone's about to die. 1 build. 1 solo other than you.
Oh my god. Ah, he's got top 3 here though.
Nice try, bro.
Nice try, bro.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, Venom.
Well played. So much more we could have done.
Not really much. Good shit, though. I fucking love you, bro.
Cold and Acorn. No way they're winning the last game as well. There's no way they're winning the last 3 games, bro. Oh. Oh my god, still. Alright, chat. Let's check the leaderboard, bro. Check the leaderboard. Check the leaderboard. I'm not gonna lie. If Peterbot and Poyo didn't get any points that game, Peterbot and Poyo didn't get any fucking points that game. Clicks. It's either Clicks or Acorn and Cold won. I think. I don't know. I think it's gonna be Acorn, Peterbot, and Clicks in top 3. I don't know who's where though. Right, this is actually kind of crazy though. Let me move my cam so you guys can see it. See. NA Grand Finals. Alternative. Wow. Alright, and it put me out. Peterbot and Poyo. That man Booga though. Respect. He's been grinding. Acorn and Cold. What a fucking comeback. Look at this. 6th first, 6th first, second. Insane comeback in day 2. Flix and Vino. I don't know what happened day 2. I actually don't know what happened, but they played well. 4th place. I mean, yeah. Threats, Thrashy, Duke Sphinx, Uga Aviv, Bolt's Prize, Paper Victor, Epic Muzz, Virgo and Shadow, Rise and Agers. Wait. Wait, so Rise still qualled? And he's still...
No, he didn't qual.
Wait, why is my leaderboard not updated?
Because Pars and Bucka are missing a win because of the API.
API? What does it mean as an API?
Thing that